Limitless Male Medical. Your health is not a game.
Load up on meat and more this spring at The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese with great selections of T-bones, tomahawks, ribeyes, filet mignon, brisket, sirloin, and so much more. The Mercado has locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, where you can have $2 draft beer every Thursday night from 4 to 8 p.m. and half-price espresso drinks on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get to The Mercado today for the best meat in town.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now, through October 12th, enjoy 6-ounce USDA Choice Bacon Wrap Filet Mignon for $9.99 each. 10-pound tubes of 85% lean ground beef, $4.99 per pound. All-natural, thick-cut, bone-in pork chops, $1.99 per pound. And Miller Lite or Coors Light, 24 packs, $17.99 each when you buy two. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
This just in. Hot off the bench press. Planet Fitness has expanded strength equipment. We're raising the bar with these benches, and our hack squat will have you actually looking forward to leg day. Plus, we're still repping all the best-in-class equipment we've always had. There's no better time to get stronger. Join the club today for $1 down, $15 a month, now through October 10th. Planet Fitness is proud to partner with Boys and Girls Clubs of America to create stronger, kinder communities. See Home Club for details.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
This fall, Baumgars has everything you need to get your farm ready for the season. Don't miss Fall Discount Day this Saturday, October 11th, for one day only. Get 17% off regular priced items. That's right, 17% off. From the barn to the backyard, Baumgars has you covered for all your field, farm, and fall fix-ups. Some exclusions apply. See a store associate for details. Baumgars, what you need, when you need it.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Schwizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schwizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schwizo.com. That's schwisow.com.
Hi, I'm Sarai, your personal banker here at Midwest Bank. I'm proud to serve our community in English and in Espanol because everyone deserves a banker who understands them. This Hispanic Heritage Month, we're celebrating the traditions, values, and dreams that make our community strong. Whether you're opening your first account, planning for the future, or growing your business, estoy aquí para ayudarle a alcanzar sus metas. I'm here to help you reach your goals. Your community, your bank. Midwest Bank. Member FDIC.
This is your year, where your team takes it all the way. Win way more than bragging rights at Warhorse Casino, where your love of the game could put $1 million in your pocket. The Pro Football Frenzy is free to play with prizes all season long. Weekly cash prizes up to $1,000 cash, season-long leaderboards, and a chance to win $1 million. Only at Warhorse Casino. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
It's the best time of the year to order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower from Landmark Implement during the early order program. Hay harvest is a race against time. Order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower to harvest your hay quickly and efficiently while promoting quick dry down for quality hay. Now is the time to lock in the best price of the year. Contact your local Landmark location for full details on a new self-propelled windrower and experience the Landmark difference.
Here at Aspen Builders, our company is building more homes today than I thought we would ever build.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
You know, I am just shocked at how strong our market is here in Lincoln and at Aspen Builders. We're probably helping people right now more than ever get into a new home. We've been able to find pieces of ground we can develop affordably and keep our lot prices down a little bit. I think with our volume discounts and our office staff, 35 years of experience, we figure out a plan that's going to work great for you. We make it perfect. We make it fit your price range. All of this is part of the reason we're so busy.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
This is a presentation of Nebraska high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. High school football broadcasts are powered by Edward Stone, Sunbelt Rentals, Union Bank and Trust, Doane University, Hamilton Telecommunications, Jimmy John's, Nebraska Army National Guard, Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office, and Play It Again Sports. Now, calling all the action, here's Nick Sainert and Jay Foreman.
Just kidding. Even better than Nick Sainert, Jay Foreman, Austin Norman, and Tristan Gomes. Welcome to it. It is our high school football preview show for the week, taking you right up until pregame. Nick and Jay will take over at 6:45. But until then, Tristan and I have some kind of big deal news to discuss here in Nebraska football, specifically regarding Class A. But, of course, we'll give you the rundown of the schedule for the week. 402-464-5685. Let us know where you're listening from. If you're listening on the way to a game, if you're at the game waiting for the game to start, let us know again. 402-464-5685. Tristan, feel like I haven't seen you in a minute. First of all, how are you?
I'm well. Glad to be back. Excited to talk some high school football. And then we got a big slate this weekend in college football. But it's always a good day here at the 93.7 The Ticket.
Most importantly, Yankees
lose. That's huge. That's the biggest news there is right now.
Go Jays.
Go Jays.
Shout out Rudy, our resident Jays fan here at 93.7 The Ticket. All right, to business in high school football. Love that you're in here for this, Tristan, having played Class A football. The more pertinent news of the week is Lincoln High forfeiting its game against Millard South. Now, of course, Millard South had to forfeit the game due to the ineligible player thing and not correctly reporting its game in Las Vegas. Lots going on with that program, a rival of yours from back in the day, of course. So folks listening out there, take that with a grain of salt, right? Got a Millard West alum in here talking about Millard South, but we trust that you will provide your fair opinion and not just go full hater. But let's think about that, where you look at Lincoln High, who on the year is 4-2. Okay, pretty good record, right? That is pretty solid. Well, last week they got blanked by Lincoln Southeast 57-0. The 4 wins for Lincoln High are over Omaha Bryan, Omaha Northwest, South Sioux City, and Omaha Benton. Combined record of those teams, 3-21.
Yeah.
Woof. So, okay, you credit Lincoln High. Maybe kind of tell us to the Seven Dwarfs situations. But after last week's game against Lincoln Southeast, their principal, Mark Larson, put out a statement saying, due to the extent of player injuries sustained in last week's game and a number of other factors, we are communicating with Millard South and the NSAA today that we are forfeiting the game. This was not an easy decision. Ultimately, we needed to make the best decision for players' health and safety so we can finish our season. This will allow an extra week for our players to heal. We believe in our student athletes and our coaching staff and know they will continue to work hard to finish the season strong. Let's start with that. You get a forfeit. One of the better teams in Lincoln by record against a team that's ranked in the top 20 nationally. What do you make of that first and foremost?
Yeah, if I'm being totally honest, I think it's understandable. It's sad because, if you're a high school football player, you only get so many games you get to play on those Friday nights. But if you are Lincoln High and you just come off that really tough, big loss last week, and you do have quite a few players get injured, and typically if those are the guys that are getting injured in those games, they're your guys. They're your starters. They probably played the whole game if they didn't get injured. And so that's the tough part where it's like you look at what Millard South has done this year. Unfortunately, they played Millard West earlier, and I believe they won by 70. And I think Millard West was negative in yards for the whole game. And so when you look at that, and Millard West, I think, is ranked in the top 10, or they're just outside of it. And you go, okay, so that's a top 10 ranked team in the state of Nebraska. And you have Lincoln High with a winning record, but no, really notable wins. It's tough to say this is a game that should go on. So I think I respect Lincoln High for maybe understanding that and not putting their players in harm's way. But it's definitely tough when it just seems like there's a just juggernaut in Nebraska, which doesn't seem like there has been for years.
It's been pretty cyclical. I mean, Millard West had its run. Bellevue West, I think, really kicked this off in the Zane, not Zane Flores, that was Gretna, but then Danny Kalin right after that, Xavier Betts into Westside's couple of years with the dramatic walk-off field goal from Alvano. And now it's Millard South's turn. And Tristan, that's why I may be a little less concerned than other people, because it has been multiple schools. It's not like you can just say it's one school who's been the best for 25 years. No one can touch them. At least it's been spread around a little bit, which makes me think that there is enough talent in the Metro to compete for these other schools. And then you go on and on down the list into all of the transfer discussions that I'm sure we'll get into over the course of the next half an hour or so. But we got people chiming in here on our Starter Human Jewelers text line. Isaac Kuchera, really appreciate you listening here on 93.7 The Ticket. He says, Millard South might have whatever going on, but don't teach your kids to quit. It's not because they don't have enough players. I hope kids at least had a day, and that's from Isaac. I don't, again, without knowing the extent of the situation, I will take Lincoln High's word for it, that they are beat up, that against a team like Millard South, you'd rather be safe than sorry for your kids against a bunch of kids that are going to end up going D1 or play at the next level. Player safety absolutely has to be a factor. I do wonder, though, again, I would love to take them at their word, but I do wonder if some of this is just Lincoln High trying to make a statement. Like, no, this is ridiculous. Because with the forfeit, I didn't realize this. So shout out to Stu Pospisil of the Omaha World Herald. He says that there's $1,000 fine that Lincoln High has to pay for forfeiting. They have to pay the officials that were scheduled to work the game, their game salary. And with the forfeit, they become ineligible for the playoffs. Even if they win their next two games, which would be against, Stu writes, 0-6 Omaha South here in Lincoln, and then on the road at North Platte the next 2 weeks, their playoff point average in the wild card would be 39, which would be higher than Omaha Westview last year, who snuck in with 38.67. But the forfeit takes Lincoln High off the playoff docket. What do you make of those penalties, the fine, the paying the officials, and the no playoffs because of the forfeit?
Yeah, I think I understand the fine. I mean, like, you have a schedule laid out. You have these refs that are assigned to these games, and, they're getting paid to do this. And so it's tough to just say, okay, yeah, you can just forfeit. There's no penalties. I do think the playoff part of it, I don't know if I completely agree with, because let's say Lincoln High does go and play this game, and then their 4 best players are injured after this one, because I don't think there's been an offensive line in the state of Nebraska that's been able to stop Millard South's defensive line. Right. They've just dominated every single game. And goes, okay, so how many guys do we need to get injured in order for us to still make the playoffs? But will we even make the playoffs if all these guys are injured? So I see both sides of it. I don't know if just not being eligible for the playoffs should be part of it, But I mean, it really is tough, especially if, I mean, you're Millard South, you kind of know, yeah, we were going to go in there and probably win by 70. But I bet the starters probably would have played the first quarter. I bet they would have put up multiple touchdowns, and then you have kind of the JV guys, the backups get their reps. But even then, these are still some really talented kids. So, I mean, it's really tough. I don't think the ineligibility for the playoffs should be a part of it, but I do think there should be the consequences.
I think that if there was a history of forfeiting to avoid a loss, then it would need to come into consideration. I'm not sure I love the forfeit right away on its face as an immediate punishment. Now, that being said, I do think there would need to be like legitimate documentation from a third source.
Yeah.
Right. Like send your kids, maybe it's on the NSAA's dime, probably not. But, you know, if you're Lincoln High and you say, hey, we have injuries, you can bring in, you know, a trainer from a different school in Lincoln, or bring in, you know, maybe one of Nebraska football's athletic staff. Say like, hey, check our kids out. Here's what's going on. What do you diagnose them with? You know, could we play? Get a third party in there that says, yeah, I mean, if these kids were to play, they're doing more harm than good.
Yeah.
You know, there's this risk involved, because you definitely don't want to see schools get in the habit and the routine of forfeiting away tough games like this.
Yeah.
You know, just because, yes, it is a mismatch. No, Lincoln High really hasn't played anyone. The two losses they already have were to Fremont 42-7, who's all right, who's fine. And then obviously Lincoln Southeast, who's up and down. But let's say even if Lincoln High was to make the playoffs, probably is the 16 seed.
Yeah.
Guess who's going to end up being the 1 seed? Millard South.
Millard South, maybe, but because their points went down a little bit after that forfeit. But still.
At least the odds are good.
Yeah. They still have a shot.
Right. And either way, okay, so then you get another number 1 seed who's probably not as talented as Millard South, but still more talented than you. I don't like the forfeit unless it's for health reasons, because it takes away some of the magic of it. You're probably going to get your brains beat in. But what if you don't? What if you're UMBC? Well, what if you're Fairleigh Dickinson? Well, again, the odds are so slim. Isn't that the magic? Isn't that why you play the game? We've seen some upsets in Nebraska. And again, if it's due to injuries, so be it. The only other reason that I think that this could be a discussion that, okay, I take your point, is if Lincoln High somehow is the school with like the dirt on Millard South and are doing this to prove a point. Like, no, this isn't fair. We have our own agenda that in the long run is going to pay off. So it sucks for right now, but we'll look back in 5 or so years and say, yeah, forfeiting that one game kind of stunk in the moment, but it might be worth it down the road. Again, I doubt that's the case. It'd be really interesting if it was little old Lincoln High being the one to take the stand against the current juggernaut in Millard South in that way.
Yeah. I mean, I think you put it well that in the past years, there have been kind of other teams that have dominated high school football in the state of Nebraska. I mean, Bellevue West for years was always tough to beat. They always had guys that were going Division I playing here at Nebraska. Burke one year had Nick Heinrich and Chris Hickman, 2 guys that ended up winning a state championship. So there's been multiple teams that have done it, but I don't know if there's been a team that's done it in this fashion. Like we played Bellevue West when they went on to win a state championship in 2019, and we lost 30-37. And they had Jade Ducker, who's now running back at Temple. They had Xavier Betts, who was, you know, the best player in high school football that year. And so they had multiple guys, but we still put up a fight. This year, this Millard South team, it seems like even the better teams in Nebraska can't even keep up. And it's tough when, you know, we grew up where you went to your neighborhood school, like you grew up with the same kids, you know, played with them all through the feeder programs. And then you get to high school and you know everyone already. Well, Millard South, it does seem like they're getting guys from outside their area. Respectfully, though, I mean, those are guys that probably want to go play Division I football. And they say, all right, this is the place where I'm going to get recruited. There's going to be coaches watching us. But it is tough when it's like, what was your high school experience? Like, it was like we won by 70 every single game. That's great. But
what'd you learn?
Yeah, you didn't really face much adversity. So, I mean, it's recent that Millard South has become this juggernaut, but I do think a national schedule would probably help them a little bit more and, you know, probably help their talent. Football's fun when you're just like scoring all over the place, but you're like, all right, like I kind of want to like face a little adversity.
You bring that up, and Justin and Seward does as well. We'll get to that in our second segment because there's a really interesting proposal that I believe got passed that we'll talk about in terms of eliminating district play. I'm glad you brought up what you did about the kids that you play with, right? Because on the one hand, I think that there's this very idealistic part of all of us that kind of wants that nostalgia, that camaraderie, that bond between, I mean, we all have those guys or gals that we grew up playing with. Like, Starts out in the neighborhood, you're just throwing it around, pick up games, what have you, just for fun. Then you get into the feeder programs in whatever sport. You build those bonds, you learn each other as teammates. And then I know for me and my buddies Max and Garrett, it was in basketball. We played together for 9 years, and we had at the time the most successful year in Lincoln Lutheran basketball history. We didn't make it to state. We were right there on the doorstep, but it was worth it. Every second of it. I could have transferred to Seward where my dad taught and played there at Class B, but I wouldn't trade anything for the world. But then go to the next part of your point. Well, these guys want to go to college. Where's the best way to do that? Play for coaching staff that gets guys to college, where you're going to get eyeballs. And I just worry it's a slippery slope if we're going to go after the transfer aspect specifically, because I don't want to punish Millard South if they're doing things, quote unquote, the right way. If they've built that program up, if they have the right coaches in place and the infrastructure, I don't want to punish them for doing things the right way and getting there. I don't want to punish these student athletes, again, if it's done by the rules, for opting into a different school district because they think that's better for their long-term future. I don't want to be the judge of that. I don't think it's necessarily up to us to judge. And I think we've seen the very negative ramifications of that at the NCAA level. That's led to a lot of those issues. And I think that can very easily trickle down to the high school level writ large, specifically in this case, NSAA Class A football. And if it's best for the player, so be it. But then we do have to have enough of an enforcement arm that if there are recruiting violations going on, if a player is living outside of their district with a coach just to be eligible or whatever, that needs to get cracked down on immediately, because there's got to be a happy medium of celebrating and allowing success that's good for the state of Nebraska and raising the profile, while not so drastically skewing the competitive balance and having players and their parents and their families move across the city or the metro or opt into a different district solely for athletics.
I think it's a tough line. I mean, what do? Do you say you have to go exactly to where your school is, or you can't transfer at all once you get into high school? So it's tough to just say like, hey, we can't do this whatsoever. And I mean, to Millard South's point, I mean, those players are probably having a blast, and it's probably nice for all those players to expand their game when you're playing with, Jet Tamalia, who's going to Alabama. I mean, that's your quarterback. If you're a receiver, I'm going, why would I want to play with anyone else in the state?
Isaac Jensen going to Florida State.
Exactly.
Linemen all across the country.
Yeah. And so you're just going like, all right, I'm going to go here. And I mean, looking back at it as a football player, if I really wanted to, go Division I, go to the next level, maybe I would have been in that boat where I said, maybe I'll just go to Millard South because I'm going to get looked at, I'm going to develop, and there's going to be things in that aspect. It's a tough line. I do want to say, though, real quick, never lost to Millard South in my 4 years of high school. Yep.
In anything?
I think we maybe lost once in baseball, but then we beat them in the state championship.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then football, beat them. My 2 years as a starter, beat them twice. So it was different. And it seems like this just came really fast, though, how quick it's happened. So it's tough to say. Like, I think the NSAA and everyone across the metro is kind of trying to just like learn this on the fly of, okay, how do we deal with this? Because this hasn't really been a thing.
But Matt, Millard itself is just such a fascinating area with how good Millard North was for so long. Then you guys at Millard West had your runs in various sports. And then here's the new school, Millard South, trying to make a name for itself. Just what a fascinating, kind of trifecta there. We'll go to break. Justin and Seward, you raised that point that Tristan did as well about the national schedule. Nebraska might be trying to address that at the state level. What could that look like by getting rid of districts? We'll get into that, get you set up for Bellevue West versus Lincoln Southwest next on The Ticket.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
This is your year where your team takes it all the way. Win way more than bragging rights at Warhorse Casino, where your love of the game could put $1 million in your pocket. The Pro Football Frenzy is free to play with prizes all season long. Weekly cash prizes up to $1,000 cash, season-long leaderboards, and a chance to win $1 million. Only at Warhorse Casino. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes! Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Schweizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schweizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schweizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
Hey guys, it's Nick. Join me and Jay Foreman this Friday night as we bring you Bellevue West versus Lincoln Southwest, live from Seacrest Field with kickoff scheduled for 7 p.m. Lincoln Southwest has won 2 games in a row thanks to a convincing 35-13 win versus Lincoln Northeast last week, and they now get ready to face off against the Thunderbirds. Pre-game is slated for 6:45 p.m. with kickoff expected at 7 p.m., and you can hear all the action between Bellevue West and Lincoln Southwest unfold right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rolling right along, about 10 minutes left before we'll go to break and send you out to Seacrest Field to hear from Nick Sainert and Jay Foreman ahead of Bellevue West and Lincoln Southwest. I'm Austin Norman. He's Tristan Gomes. We are talking some big picture issues, especially in Class A Nebraska football. We'll go to Justin in Seward on our Sartor Human Jewelers text line. Justin, appreciate you listening and chiming in. He says Millard South needs to be playing a national schedule just like other top-ranked high school teams do. Tristan, you made that point as well. What's your rationale for that?
I mean, I think when you just are looking at all these games and Millard South's schedule so far and their margin of victory, you just say they're not facing much adversity, and it's probably not safe for some of these schools. I mean, like Lincoln High probably recognized that. It's not safe for our players to go out and play multiple Division I guys. I mean, I remember when I was in high school, I don't think there were 12 Division I players in the whole metro. And
right.
then
maybe the state.
And now there's 12 on one team, at least, more guys with offers. And so you just say, all right, this is what a national ranked team looks like, is a team with multiple guys going Division I, playing top tier talent. And so when it comes to that aspect, I just think it would be beneficial not only for the schools Millard South's been playing in the state, but for Millard South to go say, all right, let's face some adversity. Let's face some teams that are going to be more competitive and find out who we really are.
Yes, completely agree. My pushback to that is, do you know you're going to be that good every year?
That's what you worry about. Yeah.
How far ahead do you schedule? You know, are these high schools flexible enough, and especially at a new-ish program to the power scene like Millard South in Nebraska that hasn't really had teams at that level consistently? Millard South's kind of the bellwether for all this. They're kind of the tone setter. They haven't really had a model for, Bellevue West was this good for this long, or what did Millard North do back in the day when they were so good, or what did Westside do to go through this process? Millard South is really the first one that we've had to have this conversation about. So I don't necessarily blame them for not knowing how to go about it. I mean, they tried with the game in Vegas and got the paperwork wrong.
Yeah.
So not like they want to go through that risk and, risk forfeiting more games in the future if they just can't get the paperwork right. And rumor has it that could lead to some more issues down the road for Millard South, but we'll save that discussion until the stuff actually comes out or doesn't down the road. But Nebraska, the state itself, is actually taking some steps to try to mitigate some of this. So again, shout out to Stu Pospisil for writing this. This was about a month or so ago, and I believe that it did officially pass that, at least in Class A, there will not be any more districts, which I think is interesting. So according to Stu, there would not be any games between the top 12 teams and the bottom 12 teams over the two previous years' wildcard points and results. And I didn't realize that teams had preferred opponent lists that they could turn into the NSAA, and teams would be allowed to expand those preferred opponents lists. And Stu says, okay, it's workable. I see where you're coming from, but it probably wouldn't solve everything, because think about the psychology of it's like 32 teams right now, but let's say Class A gets to 36, right? The bottom 12 teams won't want to play up that much.
Yeah.
Maybe the bottom middle tier. Okay. The middle 12 teams want those points, want those wins, want to look pretty. They'll want to play a bunch of the bottom teams. Then that leaves your top 8, 10, 12. Are you just going to make them play each other? Is that what you're going to do? Is that fair to them? Is that fair to their records? Is that best for the growth in the state? I don't know. Like, if you think of it in the college football model, it's kind of where we're going, where you're getting more games between those top programs. Hey, sorry, deal with it. The money's good. Well, guess what? Money's not quite as good in high school sports as it is in college sports. And this is where I hope the NSAA is willing and able to take the step to say, we understand there's competitive imbalance. We have to do something about it. But it can't just be us doing something about it. Schools, you have to do something about it as well. You have to invest. You have to, whether it's in your athletic programs, whether it's in your facilities, or whether it's in even something as simple as your academics. You're still a high school where supposedly that's supposed to take priority. Become the best academic school district in the state that parents want to send their kids to. Maybe that's a simple thing you could do better. So then you get some more of the higher quality kids, higher quality athletes that they want the best of both worlds. Because I think even just the simplest fix is, why aren't all the Lincoln schools playing each other every year?
Yeah.
Like, there's enough high schools. You fill the schedule with those, and then you can mix in a game against the Metro and a game against a Kearney or a Grand Island or a North Platte down the line. Obviously, those three schools specifically on the western edge for Class A are going to have to do a lot more traveling to Lincoln. And maybe it's not every Lincoln school plays each other every year, but there's no reason you can't hit half the city or 2/3 of the city, at least at the Class A level, every single year. Play who's close to you if you're getting rid of districts. Same thing in Omaha, where, sure, I mean, the Millard schools play every year.
Play each other every year.
Elkhorn schools should play pretty much every year because they're there. OPS is a little different, but it's still one city. But I'd also like to see, if you're Lincoln High, why don't you play Bennington? Why don't you play Norris? Why don't you play Scott? Where, I mean, these are teams that are de facto Class A schools in a lot of settings. They're not Class A. They're the top of Class B. They have been for a while. But why can't we get more of that cross-class crossover? Now, it's a risk for the Class A schools, right? You get fewer of the wild card points for it, for a win, or you get hurt more for a loss. Like, I get it from that aspect. But if you're Lincoln High and you don't want to go play Millard South for injury purposes, if you're Omaha South or Benson, you don't have the kids available, you don't have that many numbers. Why don't you reach out to Bennington? Why don't you reach out to Scott and say, hey, yeah, this is a risk for us with fewer points, but for the good of the game, for the good of our program, for the good of your program, and you get Class A wildcard points, we'll deal with Class B because we think it's maybe better for our kids. And that's where these bottom programs, it might actually be better for them to play themselves or Class B for a while, just for sheer participation sake. If they know they're staring down the barrel of, holy crap, we got Millard South, Millard West, Bellevue West, Elkhorn South, Gretna on our schedule this year, and you already have a losing culture, there's not enough kids out there that have that winning championship mindset at a school without a culture of winning to say, we're going to be the group that takes on that challenge. That's a big ask of high school kids. So I think there's an aspect of it where if you are the bottom 12 teams, you might have to suck it up for a while, play each other, maybe get left out of the playoffs, which will feel unfair when you get that 8-1 team from that bottom group, not get into the playoffs because of wild card points. That'd just be disgusting, right? You see a 5-4 team, end up with a 6 seed in Class A, or, the Class A playoffs because of their wild card points. But let's say Lincoln High, go 6-3, 6-3, 7-2, 6-3, 8-1 over the course of 5-6 years. And you're like, oh, okay, now we feel comfortable. Let's expand our preferred list. Let's go play kind of that bottom middle tier and test ourselves against one or two of those schools every year. This isn't something that Nebraska is going to fix overnight. This is going to be a decade-long process if they start taking steps in the right direction.
Yeah. I mean, I think when you, not to disrespect them whatsoever, but when you're kind of that bottom tier team, I'm not sure if the playoffs are really in your mind. I think when you're a coach of those teams, you just want to say, I want to give these kids a great high school football experience. I want to teach them lessons that, sports can teach these guys. And with that being said, what good does it do for us to, just get our brains beat in by Millard South, Bellevue West, West Side? Like, what does that good do us? But if you give them opportunity to, play in some competitive games against probably these bottom teams, even some Class B teams who probably match up much better with them, then you can walk away from it and go, all right, yeah, maybe we won 7 games. We didn't make the playoffs, but we didn't really beat anyone great. But at least we had a good experience doing it. And it wasn't, all right, this week we have to go play Millard South. They're going to beat us by 70. And my body's going to be hurting really bad after this one. And so I think from that aspect, I think it makes a lot of sense. I do think it's tough for, maybe that number 8 team that's playing all these top tier teams in the state and goes, we can't win a game, or we're, 3-6, 4-5. But we've only played the top teams in the state.
And see, that's where I don't want to artificially inflate their records by just saying, oh, you get easier opponents next year. Because if you think that you can reach that tier, I think it's good for you to play those schools to be like, okay, this is where we have to get to.
Yeah. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there needs to be some sort of mechanical leveling of the playing field. It's not just going to happen naturally on its own by itself. But I think there are ways that the NSAA can go about encouraging that healthy sort of competition, that healthy sort of drive of, man, we're tired of being 3-6 and only beating the quote unquote lesser teams on our schedule, right? We're tired of just being stuck in the middle. What do we have to do to take the next step? Sometimes it's going to be athletic. Sometimes it's going to be academic. Sometimes it's going to be investing in your coaches. Joe B says Bennington would beat the brakes off of Lincoln High. Maybe, but don't you give Lincoln High a better shot against Bennington than you would Millard South?
100%. And I mean, to that point, I don't think you worry so much about the points. If you're one of those bottom tier teams, you're playing Class B team, I don't think you're worried so much. We're going to lose points for playing in this game if we lose this one. I think you say this is going to be a more competitive game. We have a shot. We can really prepare for this one and put in the preparation to know we could go in there and we have a chance. Because even against like a team against Millard South, I don't know, you could do all the prep in the world. You can watch all the film in the world. When they have athletes that are the top athletes in the state, there's not much you can do.
Absolutely. And then 2281 says, prior to the districting rules, the Lincoln schools did play each other every year. I think that makes perfect sense. Again, I know that high school and college are different, but didn't that used to be part of the joy of bowl season, is that you didn't get much of that regional crossover, is that you had those regional identities where you knew what you were going to get in the SEC, you knew what you were going to get in the ACC, you knew what Northeast football looked like, you knew what the Big 10 was going to be, you knew what the Big 12 style, Big 8 style was, you get the Mountain in Pac-12. You had these diverse different sorts of games based on the athletes available, based on the climate, based on the weather. And part of the fun was figuring out in the postseason, hey, which system
Who's
works
better?
best.
Yeah, a little
you
Rose
know?
Bowl action where it's winner of the Big Ten playing the winner of the Pac-12, and you go, all right, let's see maybe a more spread offense on the West Coast, and then a hard-nosed football, from the Midwest. Who's going to win that one? And it's just fun to see.
Yeah, because speed didn't always beat power, and power didn't always beat speed. It's why you played the games. And I get why the decisions have been made the way they have in the district level, the NSAA, and at the conference level in college football. But I think we've lost part of that mystique and that joy of I don't know what to expect. It's something new. It's a challenge. The novelty is just kind of gone, and it's been more seemingly homogenized, where if you're not already at that top level, it's harder to get there across the board. So that'll do it for us here in the studio. Stay tuned here in just a couple minutes. We will get you out live to Seacrest Field. Nick Sainert and Jay Foreman on the call for Lincoln Southwest. Silverhawks hosting the Thunderbirds of Bellevue West. If anyone knows what a Thunderbird is, please let me know on our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line. For Tristan, I'm Austin. Don't go anywhere. We got Class A football next on the ticket.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now, through October 12th, enjoy 6-ounce USDA choice bacon wrap filet mignon for $9.99 each. 10-pound tubes of 85% lean ground beef, $4.99 per pound. All natural, thick-cut, bone-in pork chops, $1.99 per pound. And Miller Lite or Coors Light, 24 packs, $17.99 each when you buy 2. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top-quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Drink locally and support local business during Lincoln's Craft Beer Week, October 11th through the 18th. Great beer, cider, distillates, and more are made right here in Lincoln. For more info, visit lincoln.org/beer-week. Brought to you by Visit Lincoln. Remember to enjoy responsibly.
Electrical Enterprises in Brooke reminds you the men and women of our military dedicate themselves to serve our country. Their commitment and courage keeps our country safe and strong. Let us honor those who have lost their lives in the line of duty and salute those who have served today. This from Electrical Enterprises in Roca. For all of your residential and commercial electrical construction needs, call 402-438-5822. We live in the land of the free, thanks to the brave.
Yesterday, your water heater worked just fine. Today, surprise! When you're out of hot water, just call the plumbers at Bryant. In most cases, you can get same-day water heater replacement. What you won't get is a costly surprise with the bill. At Bryant, the price you're quoted is the price you'll pay. No last-minute extras for piping or ventilation alterations. Need a new water heater? Just call Bryant, 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
A business's phone is the lifeline to its customers and potential clients. That's why it's so important that you can take calls seamlessly from anywhere, whether you're on the road or in the office. Hamilton Business Technologies can help ensure your phone rings wherever you are. We can equip your headquarters and any of its locations with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we know how to keep Nebraska businesses connected. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
This is a presentation of Nebraska High School Football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. High school football broadcasts are powered by Edward Stone, Sunbelt Rentals, Union Bank and Trust, Doane University, Hamilton Telecommunications, Jimmy John's, Nebraska Army National Guard, Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office, and Play It Again Sports. Now, calling all the action, here's Nick Sainert and Jay Foreman.
Welcome into Seacrest Field as we continue the 93.7 The Ticket high school football season here at Seacrest Field. Nick Sainert alongside Jay Foreman with you ahead of an exciting matchup against the 2-4 Lincoln Southwest Silverhawks going up against the 3-3 overall Bellevue West Thunderbirds here in the capital city. Jay Foreman, good evening, my friend. We got an exciting one on hand, one that between a school that we're usually accustomed to seeing be pretty successful in the state playoff conversation has hit a little bit of a speed bump this year in Bellevue West, going up against a team in Lincoln Southwest. Third time for us seeing them this season, but they've gotten better week after week.
Yeah, I think if Lincoln Southwest is going to take a big jump, it's going to be identity, right? And I think they've had an identity crisis of, how they want to play, who they want to play, when they want to play, and what plays they want to call. And I think over the last couple of weeks, they start to match that up a little bit better. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think you saw a better performance of them as of late.
Lincoln Southwest coming in off of a dominating win last weekend against Lincoln Northeast. They were able to knock off the Rockets 35-13 in a game that we called here on the station, Jay, last Thursday night. That game, it didn't maybe go the way we expected it to, but I think we learned some things about Lincoln Southwest. Going back to that identity, we know Grant Tranowitz wants to run the ball. He's not going to ask Thatcher Shelton to necessarily pass the ball 30 times a game like some programs do. But ultimately, that's how Lincoln Southwest, I think, in this moment in their program is going to win games. Muck it up, keep it on the ground, allow the clock to run, and hopefully it's a rather lower scoring game.
Yeah, even when they've struggled, at times to score points, their defense has always kept them in the game, and that's what they leaned on last week until their offense really got that running attack going. And it seemed like whoever they brought in had success, and so they have 4 capable running backs, and obviously they found a way, I think, with Shelton to give him some more confidence. That's essentially cutting down the reads, getting him out of the pocket, and either hit the first guy or maybe the second read, if not tuck it. And then you saw that in the second half of their last game, they really started to be explosive.
Yeah, Thatcher Shelton completing a little under 50% of his passes this year, 6 touchdowns, 6 INTs as well for him, exactly 700 yards on the nose through their 6 games. But as Jay mentioned, the running back crew, led by Luke Mitchell, he's listed as the starter. Mitchell with 360 rushing yards and 5 scores on the season. Pair him with the 1-2 punch of Noah Curtis as well back there, who has 33 carries on the campaign. Those 2 guys, I think we're going to see maybe primarily featured a little bit more tonight and less spreading it out than what we saw last week.
Yeah, I think with Mitchell and Curtis, they kind of give you the 1-2 punch, thunder and lightning. And obviously, Curtis is very physical, can get point A to point B, but probably faster than probably what people give him credit for it. Then Luke Mitchell, I think, is a combination of both. And so that big offensive line, led by, Big Nelson, number 70, they're going to either be able to run right or left over those two big tackles and try to reset the line of scrimmage.
It will be interesting to see the role that Cam Rakowski plays for Lincoln Southwest here today. He was a guy that 2 weeks ago against South Sioux City in a blowout win in favor of Lincoln Southwest, he actually was able to lead the Silverhawks in rushing with 60 yards. He was actually the first running back out there last week. And so we know how much Grant Tranowitz likes Luke Mitchell and Noah Curtis, but do we see a third running back kind of enter the rotation consistently here tonight? And if so, I think that would be a guy in the form of Cam Rakowski, who's a sophomore for the Silverhawks here tonight. Southwest on the season, they didn't start out too well. They're on a 2-game winning streak. They lost their first 4 games. A matchup we saw against Lincoln North Star where they lost 14-10. Follow that up with a 26-9 loss against Lincoln Southeast, later in the season in week 2. And despite it being a 26-9 showing on the scoreboard, the game didn't necessarily feel that way. Lincoln Southeast kind of broke away late. They had a shutout loss against Lincoln East later in the year as well. Started out 0-4, have won 2 in a row, and have a really big chance to get a quality win against a notable program in the state of Nebraska tonight.
It's one of those things where, it's kind of like Nebraska against Michigan. Bellevue West is obviously more than just recently a blue blood as far as the high school rankings, and obviously historic football program. And so Southwest can beat them, and then you know that you're going on the right direction and the right path, considering how they started. They went up to Sioux City, got it going, obviously doubled down on it next week, and they feel like this is a very winnable game. I mean, I think the strength of Bellevue West is definitely going against the strength of Lincoln Southwest Silverhawks, and so it's going to be a battle of wills. And I think Lincoln Southwest thinks that their running game and their physicality and also the ability to keep a fresh running back. I mean, we saw them, Nick, if everybody's healthy, they realistically could just play one running back per quarter and not lose any sleep about it and obviously not miss a beat.
When you look at Bellevue West, 3-3 on the year, not necessarily the record we're accustomed to seeing with a Thunderbird squad that is found themselves having state success, I should say, on the big stage. However, they've played a little bit of a tough schedule. They had to start out the year with a matchup against Omaha Central. They lost it by 1, then played a really, really good Elkhorn South team on the road, lost by 1 score there. They blew out Bellevue East later in the season, lost by 8 points to Omaha West Side, and then a couple of shutout wins to Buena Vista 78-0, and then South Sioux City 65-0. Maybe the record's not as indicative of how this season's going for Bellevue West because they've played a couple of good teams.
Yeah, and when you play in the Metro, you're going to be tested every single week. And so it's like everybody's listening. Obviously, we're pulling for our Huskers tomorrow. It's like the Big Ten. There's no week off, and they face some big-time opponents. And I think that they face some opponents probably at the wrong time for them and the right time for their opponents. And so they feel like, look, this is game 6. They're hitting their stride or want to hit their stride, and they're up against a big test tonight. And so, look, it's Lincoln versus the Metro. There's a lot of bragging rights going on or at stake tonight, considering the I guess outcome of some of the things that potential games that didn't get played tonight. So there's a lot more on the line than just the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's hard to talk about this Bellevue West offense without talking about the quarterback, number 16. That is Will Anderson, 6'1", 195 pounds, the senior, with some really impressive statistics so far through 6 games, completing close to 70% of his passes, has over 1,300 passing yards, just shy of 1,400 on the season, 19 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That's something that if you can keep hold of the football and not turn it over, especially at the high school level from the quarterback position, you're going to have success more times than not.
Yeah, I think Will Anderson, when we saw him and when he was at Millard West, came in, I think, as a freshman a few years ago, and it's amazing. Look, we've been doing it this long. We're like, man, he's going to be a pretty good prospect. And I think really with any other year, you'd be talking about him going to a higher level school, right? Maybe even possibly lower level Power 4. When there's so many good quarterbacks throughout not only the Metro but the state of Nebraska, he kind of sometimes, a little bit getting forgotten. But look, I think he's came in after Daniel Kalen and really reset the mark of what it takes to be a Bellevue West quarterback. I mean, when you talk about you're throwing for 1,400 yards and essentially 19 touchdowns and 2 interceptions without much of a running game, everybody knows when they get off the bus, they're going to put it in the air and he's been spectacular all year.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see. I mean, you look at the rushing attack for Bellevue West, and their leading rusher on the season is number 8, Dylan Miller, a junior running back and linebacker, has 40 carries on the year for 241 yards. 241 rushing yards this season, leads Bellevue West in rushing. But then in the receiving game, number 3, Bryce Johnson, 6 feet tall, 160 pounds, the junior, 25 catches, 623 receiving yards, and 6 scores. You pair him with Jermaine Green, the 6'1" senior wideout who has 24 catches for almost 330 yards and 4 scores there. It's hard to slow down this Bellevue West offense. And when you look at Bellevue West too, historically, you can go down the list of quality names at the high school level that have come out of this factory, I can call it. Daniel Kalin. Then you go down at the wide receiver, Davon Hall, Isaiah McMorris, all of those guys, notable names to come out of Bellevue West High School. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll continue the preview of Bellevue West and Lincoln Southwest when we come back on 93.7 The Ticket.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It is high school football time here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. And we are just moments away from kickoff between Lincoln Southwest and Bellevue West as both teams have emerged from the locker room. Southwest, they won the toss and elected to defer to the second half. And so Bellevue West and their high-powered offense, an offense that's outscored opponents 78-0 and then 65-0 in the last 2 weeks, and then their third win of the year came in a 49-0 win against Bellevue East. You're talking about in all 3 of the T-Birds wins this season came against lesser opponents, sure, but in dominant fashion, beat them the way they're supposed to.
Yeah, look, that offense gets rolling. I mean, when you have Bryce Johnson averaging over 20 yards a catch and obviously 6 touchdowns and over 100 yards a game, they're pretty consistent. And obviously, his partner in crime is Jermaine Green, but they can put up points in a hurry. But let's not be mistaken. I mean, when you think about when they played Omaha Westside, losing by 8, they lost by 7 to Elkhorn South and 1 point to Omaha Central. They've been through the gauntlet, and it's not just offense. And maybe that's the difference in this team this year. Some really good athletes on defense. They have Vincent Garza, leads the team in tackles for loss, and then obviously he has 4 sacks. At 6 foot, 180-pound linebacker safety is very, very active. And so I think Bellevue West is looking like, you know what, they're 3-3. They're trying to get to 4-3, and they're trying to put the state on notice that they're still a contender.
So Lincoln Southwest, a team we've seen. This will be the 4th time that Jay and I have seen the Silverhawks this season. Definitely seen some growth from Grant Tranowitz's squad. I think something we just talked about a couple of minutes ago as well. Big opportunity for Coach Tranowitz to really get a marquee win in still early in his head coaching career, taking over for Andrew Sherman a couple of seasons ago. And we've seen the game management get a little bit better over the last few seasons. Now they just need something to kind of continue to keep the players believing.
Yeah, I think you need that tangible win, but they came out and competed, and they've looked better and better each week. And obviously, the in-game management, clock management, timeout management, you only can really get good at it through experience, and some of it has been circumstances as well. But I think, like I talked about Bellevue West, every game they've played, they've been competitive. Besides the Lincoln East 20-0, and I think that was the turning point for them, right? Papillion La Vista, close game. Lincoln Southeast, a lot closer. North Star, we saw it. I think after that Lincoln East game, I think they went back to the drawing board, changed their identity, and started to match up their play callings with the players, and it's been successful.
All right, Lincoln Southwest will be in the silver helmets, green jerseys, white letters and numbers, and the charcoal gray pants, while It's a white out for Bellevue West, white helmets, white jerseys, and white bottoms for the T-Birds. Both sides on their players have shades of pink, whether it's pink socks, pink gloves, pink armbands here in Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October. We are underway as Southwest kicks to the north end zone. It's fielded in the end zone for a touchback, and it's our first look at the Bellevue West offense going up against the Southwest defense. Will Anderson leading the T-Birds at quarterback.
I think this is, if it could ever work out for Southwest, I think this is what you want. You want to put your defense out there, and obviously they have really good linebacker play, and obviously have a defensive end in Evan Robinson that's obviously power 4 legit as far as his offers. And so they're well coached, they're physical. And so if you want to take control of a game, what do you got to do? You got to bring your defense. And so Southwest Silverhawks are actually playing a little bit of house money here. We'll see how it goes.
Evan Robinson, Tanner Schroeder lead the way in the sack department for the Silverhawks this year. A defense that has 16 sacks on the campaign. Both of those guys with 4 here in the 2025 season. First pass of the way is thrown out near side. It's hauled in. A very easy routine catch for Jermaine Green for Bellevue West. Gets about 8 yards on first down. Nice, easy pitch and catch to start for the Bellevue West.
Yeah, a little half roll out, and obviously Will Anderson showing what type of athlete he is, and a really good pitch and catch with him and Green, just to soften up that defense. But Southwest Silverhawks, they're in the feel-out phase right here. Pretty soon when they get close to 50-yard line, they're going to get busy a little bit.
Second down and 2 from the 28-yard line or so for Bellevue West on offense. First possession of the ball game for Silverhawks, bringing pressure off the right side, unable to get it home. Now Green hauls it out in the near side outside the numbers for a first down, but then kind of gets pushed out of bounds by a couple of Southwest Silverhawks. One of the main guys in there on the stop, Colton Hoy, the junior linebacker.
Yeah, Colton Hoy is a really good linebacker, active, physical, and he's probably he brings a lot of energy from his physicality and obviously personality. They had a blitz coming off the left side there. They need to go back to that because Evan Robinson, the timing was perfect, and he almost had a good hit on the quarterback.
First and 10 from the 33-yard line. 2 plays and a first down for the T-Birds offense. 2 wide out near side. They roll out to the left side where there's one receiver, has a nice double move, but instead going to keep it on the scramble is the quarterback. That is number 16, Will Anderson on the scramble. Gets a nice gain of 5 or 6 up near the 40-yard line.
Yeah, right now we always talk about every school that we call who can stay at or ahead of the chains, and obviously Bellevue West is keeping the Southwest Silverhawks defense on their heels. And what they're doing is doing half rolls. So what that is also telling me, they really respect this defensive line.
They tried to isolate Bryce Johnson on the far side there with a double move, unable to get it to him. First run of the game as it's right up the gut, and it's going to be a gain of about 4 yards near that first down marker. I think they're going to give him the first down. He might have gotten it on the second effort. And so another first down here in just a moment for Bellevue West. Move the chains, 1st and 10 from their own 44-yard line, and they're right back up to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it was Rathbun and Hoy and Hill on that tackle, and actually they hit him going towards their end zone and gave them the first down. So Southwest has got to get a stop here.
Bellevue West trending towards the south end zone here at Seacrest Field on a pretty comfortable October night, as here's another handoff to Dylan Miller, the running back. He almost got dragged down by his right part of his jersey on the shoulder, but was able to continue going with his momentum across the 50-yard line into the 49 of Lincoln Southwest. It's a gain of 7 on first down.
Yeah, Bellevue West is bringing their offensive line. I mentioned their defense obviously playing well, but that's a pretty big offensive line, and they're making some holes, and they're doing just enough to keep Southwest on their heels for being overly aggressive with their blitz.
Tristan James is in the backfield as the running back to the right hip of Anderson. 2 wideouts far side. They're lined up just inside the right hash mark. It's a toss right side to James. James has a first down and a lot more across the 40-yard line of Lincoln Southwest, and Bellevue West running the football and moving the football, I should say, with ease on this first drive. Yeah. 1st and 10 inside the 39-yard line of Lincoln Southwest.
Yeah, and they haven't attempted to throw the ball to Bryce Johnson, and obviously they're just waiting in the wings to throw it. They're trying to get him isolated up there at the top of the formation there. But what they're doing is they're running initially out of necessity, right, to see how much they can do. But I think they're starting to see some success. They're going to come back to it.
2 wide each side. Bryce Johnson isolated with Zach Teague on the far side. They're looking his way. They throw it out into the flat instead. It's caught by number 14, Grant Jones, who is able to get some space. He's taken down by Teague, but not until he gets right up on that first down marker. And I believe it's going to be 2nd down and short for Bellevue West.
Yeah, I think when we talked about Southwest and what they needed to do offensively, they need to take a page right out of Bellevue West. They're keeping you on your heels, and they're attacking all thirds of the field. But more importantly, Nick, they're keeping you off balance by running on first down, throwing on first down, vice versa on the second and third.
Tristan James to the left of Anderson. They hand it off here to him. It's a sweep off to the right side. Nice little plants his foot and then just tries to drive upfield, but he's held down and taken down after a 4-yard gain up to the 26-yard line. It's enough for a first down, but a nice tackle made there by Evan Robinson and a group of Southwest defenders.
Yeah, good job there, but obviously giving up a first down. And when you make a good play like that, Nick, sometimes I wouldn't say it's demoralizing, but you can't really get too hyped because they keep picking up first downs. And so Southwest has got to provide a little bit more strength against the run on first and second down in order to get them in third down.
9:38 to go, first quarter, still scoreless. They turn, hand it off here up the middle to number 5. This is DeMarcus Robinson, the junior running back. He gets a couple up, and by a couple, I should say about 6 yards up to the 21-yard line or so. That is going to bring up second down and 5, give or take, here with 9 minutes and 19 seconds to play in the first quarter. Still scoreless in this one as Bellevue West clinically and strategically moving down the field.
Yeah, they're just taking their time. They're getting whatever type of look they want defensively. So they're doing a really good job of dictating the pace right now.
Here's a snap, handoff once again. Robinson taken down by Evan Robinson near that line to gain. It's going to be a gain of 4 or so on second down. Brings up third down and very short here from the 17-yard line, rather.
Yeah, Nick, when you think about DeMarcus Robinson and obviously Tristan James, they're not big running backs, but what they do is they run behind their pads. And I will tell you this, Bellevue West has a pretty big offensive line. Obviously, they have Raul Meja, 6'3", 320 pounds. He is creating big holes there on the left side.
8.5 to play, third down and 1. They turn, hand it off. A lot of room for DeMarcus Robinson inside the 10, taken down from behind. And there's going to be a late flag thrown in where he was tackled. I think they might get the Silverhawks with a horse collar tackle.
Yeah, that was good closing speed there by Evan Robinson. And obviously, sometimes, Nick, when you're, 6'2", 6'3", like Evan, and you're tackling a diminutive runner back in DeMarcus Robinson, you can set yourself up for unnecessary horse collar tackle there. Now you're pretty much in goal-to-goal situations, right? It's half the distance to the goal line. They haven't really stopped Bellevue West in any form or fashion. We're even talking about a winning run or pass as far as, a winning run against the defense is stopping them for 3 yards or less. We haven't seen that. Passing, they've been able to throw short, intermediate, and long if they wanted to. And now they're down here with their backs against the wall trying to get a stop or hold them to a field goal.
8:25 to go in the first quarter after the personal foul penalty against Lincoln Southwest. It is going to be first and goal from the 5. And so Bellevue West, comes out, 2 wideouts, far side, empty shotgun set. Will Anderson in the backfield. He now motions Tristan James back to the right hip, and they motion the tight end on the left side of that offensive line. They turn, hand it off. James navigating his way through traffic, trying to barrel his way into the end zone. Did he get there? And no signal yet. They're going to mark him down short of the goal line at the 1-yard line.
Yeah, a good patient run there by James. He was dipping in and out of the hole and ran behind his pads, and it looked like
They did call it a touchdown. So a late signal by the far referee. The referee came running in and initially signaled him down, waving his hands he was down at the 1, and then the white cap came in. The head referee comes rushing in and signals a touchdown. And so with 8:10 to go in the first quarter, Bellevue West strikes first on the run by Tristan James. On to attempt the extra point. The snap, the hold, the kick is blocked. And so Lincoln Southwest, a little life at the end of that drive there. They blocked the extra point, but Bellevue West marched down methodically and clinically to take an early 6-0 lead. Let's step aside, 30-second timeout. We'll come back. Lincoln Southwest on offense for the first time here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Welcome back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, time to see what Lincoln Southwest is made of here as they allow an easy almost 4-minute drive, 3 minutes and 50 seconds off the clock. Bellevue West strikes first, 6-0 on a 5-yard touchdown run by Tristan James. And in a very low-energy environment, it feels like here at Seacrest Field, Lincoln Southwest returns this kickoff at the 18-yard line. The returner gets popped just past the 20-yard line. He's going to be down at the 23, and that's where we get to see Lincoln Southwest on offense for the first time tonight, and we know what they want to do offensively. Bellevue West knows it as well, and that's the conventional run game.
Yeah, and there's plenty of time. Obviously, when you're as an offense and you watch your defense, which was the strength of your team or is the strength of your team, essentially gets sliced and diced all the way down the field, you think sometimes you have to go and match score for score. They just got to get into their game. I think when Southwest wins on first down, they get in second and manageable, third and short, and be able to take control of this game from a physicality standpoint, they'll be just fine by the time the fourth quarter runs around.
Lincoln Southwest coming in off of a 35-13 win against Lincoln Northeast last Thursday night. They take the snap. It's a quarterback keeper, Thatcher Shelton, navigating his way through space and was able to get up near the 30-yard line, tackle down at the 28, gain of 5 on first down. And that's where, like you said, Jay, plenty of time. You can't panic. We're still less than halfway through the first quarter in this one. Run your offense. Do what you know works.
Yeah, the biggest thing you need to do is give your defense enough time to make adjustments there, both individually and collectively, but more importantly, get into your game. That's a really good play call on first down. They're expecting a conventional run game with Luke Mitchell in the back. Shelton got positive yards. And also I want to say this, Nick, one tackle away from being out the gate 98.
Second down and 5, 7:25 to play in the first quarter. Lincoln Southwest trailing 6-0. Early stages of this one as they're back and they hand it off. Here's Mitchell trying to bounce it out left side, trying to now bounce even farther outside. That will not work because he's thrown down in the backfield by Kyrie Smith. The 5'11 senior DB was able to shed the block on the perimeter, a block that was attempted by Gavin Stroop, unable to hold on long enough, and he tackled the running back in the backfield. Loss of 1 on the play to bring up third down and 6.
That was an excellent job there by Smith, not only defeating the block, destroying the block, setting the edge, and not widening the field and making the tackle. That's an excellent play by that young man.
Third down and 6, 6:45 to play in the opening quarter of action. 2 wideouts near side to the shallow side of the field. Back to pass is Shelton. Looking, quick pass up the seam. It's hauled in by number 12. That's Alex Dawes on the completion. He's going to be a couple of yards shy of the first down. He's taken down at the 33-yard line. However, there is some laundry on the play, and we're going to see what this penalty is. It was thrown in the secondary.
Yeah, it might have been an inadvertent face mask on the tackle. Dawes is a little bit smaller player, and I think the tackle, there by Smith was up around the headgear, so I'm not sure if they got him with the face mask.
They did get him with the face mask. So Lincoln Southwest, they were going to be in a 4th and inches scenario there. Now with the face mask penalty, they move it up 15 yards, or 5 yards since it's inadvertent, me. And then it's going to be an automatic first down for Lincoln Southwest.
Hey, any way you can get it, you want to come out, you want to start putting first downs together. This is right in the pace of slow, methodical pace of football, physical football, what Lincoln Southwest wants to do. They haven't started to lean on this defense yet, so more opportunities will allow them to do so.
Yeah, you feel like Lincoln Southwest, the best chance that they have to win this game is to keep Will Anderson and that Bellevue West offense off the field, especially after that first drive we saw from the T-Birds.
Yeah, you see the defensive players meeting with various coaches, right? They're trying to get on the same page, not only get on the same page, make adjustments, but more importantly, Nick, you mentioned it earlier, they need some more energy in here. You got the student body in here, and it's a little bit
it's light.
It's light. It's a little bit of a different time. I don't know whether when you look at Bellevue West, they didn't really bring anybody, and so this is a great opportunity to get behind your home team here in Lincoln.
They hand it off to Luke Mitchell right up the middle, and he's going to maybe get 2 yards up to the 39-yard line. That's the area for Luke Mitchell. I'm not sure, Jay, if that's Luke Mitchell's forte tonight.
Yeah, tonight I don't know if it's in his wheelhouse, especially when you got Micah Santiago, 6'3", 310, right in the middle, and he's a sophomore that's really anchoring the middle of that defense, and along with Gage Brown, the 6 foot, 255-pound defensive tackle. There's not much movement up the middle for a running back like Mitchell. You think more Noah Curtis in that situation to try to set up Mitchell on the outside runs.
5 minutes and change to go. Now a fumble on the snap. It's corralled for a moment by Shelton, and he just has to dive on it way back at the 25-yard line. It's going to be a loss of 14 on a mistake that was caused by the Lincoln Southwest offensive line, and that's going to put him in a third down and a mile situation. The first down marker is at their own 47-yard line. The ball is at the 25. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 22.
So you think about the free first down on an inadvertent face mask, you think you're okay, we got some positive momentum. Now you have a self-inflicted wound. What we talked about before the game has probably always been the thorn in the side for the Southwest Silverhawks.
So 3rd down and a mile. 3rd down and 22 officially. 4.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Shelton, another high snap, another fumble on the snap. Shelton trying to dive on it. He is unable to. It's picked up by Bellevue West, and they run it in for the score. Number 2, Adrian Wilson on the recovery and the score. Scoop and score for Bellevue West, and they extend their lead to 12-0 on the second straight fumble on the snap.
Yeah, Nick, I was going to say the temperatures have cooled a little bit. We've seen a couple players already cramp up, and I was going to say with hot temperatures during the week, and obviously that's when you practice. When the temperatures drop, the ball gets a little slick. Back-to-back mishaps there on the center exchange with the quarterback. But they got to get right back and get their mind right. They got to get right back out there on offense and try to get something positive going for the Silverhawks.
The point after is up, and it is good. So 4:28 remains in the first quarter. Bellevue West leads at 13-0 here over Lincoln Southwest after a fumble on the snap, a scoop, and a score for Adrian Wilson of the T-Birds. Runs it in from 10 yards out. We'll step aside, come back in 30 seconds. Lincoln Southwest back on offense when we return.
At Doane University, we build leaders, and that means your success and achievements come first. Now is the time to get a glimpse into living and learning at Doane University through a personalized in-person or virtual visit. We know once you experience Doane, you'll see why it's a place where you can achieve your goals and shape your future. Schedule your personal campus visit today at doane.edu/visit.
Welcome back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
So after Lincoln Southwest was getting a little bit of momentum offensively and with some help of a penalty on the Bellevue West defense, they fumbled the snap on a high snap. It looked kind of like a deja vu moment, the same thing 2 times in a row. And on the second one, Thatcher Shelton, the quarterback for Lincoln Southwest, unable to recover. Adrian Wilson, the defensive end for the Bellevue West defense, able to recover. He scores from 10 yards out. It's 13-0. Now a little bit of space for the up man on the return for number 44 for Lincoln Southwest.
Oh, yeah.
This is Gavin Rathbun, who barrels his way all the way across the 40-yard line. And, Jay, this is what we were saying. There's not a lot of energy on the Lincoln Southwest side of things here in Seacrest.
Yeah, and whether it's the parents or the family section or the student section, it's pretty dull down here. And obviously it's a reflection of the team. And obviously you create your own energy by your good play, but we're only 8 minutes into the game, and everybody's sitting on their hands. And so hopefully that positive return there by Rathman is to get guys going or get the energy in the Southwest Silverhawk side. But more importantly, they have to, get their minds wrapped around, okay, we made 2 crucial mistakes, gave up 7 points on offense. Now you're in a position where you can be a little bit more aggressive with a lot of time left in the clock.
Shelton in the shotgun. He turns, tosses it right side. Here's Luke Mitchell trying to navigate his way through traffic, and just not a lot going there as he's going to be stopped about a half yard behind the line of scrimmage, just inside the hash marks, and it's going to be 2nd down and 10 for them.
Yeah, I think Bellevue West has made an adjustment here. They figured, you know what, we're going back out there in defense. So you brought in Meja in there at 6'3", 320 pounds to go with Santiago, 310 pounds. And then obviously with number 58, Gage Brown, 255 pounds at 6 foot. They are plugging the middle up. And then also they have number 44, Dontel McNeil at 5'9", 200, playing an outside linebacker defensive end. They are making sure that running attack is stopped.
Speaking of the running attack, Luke Mitchell right up the middle, and number 74 for Bellevue West, Micah Santiago, the 6'3", 310-pound defensive lineman, immediately there to jump on him off the side of the line there. 3 down front. Those are big bodies up there, Jay.
Yeah, and they're rotating them all. And I'm just looking at the roster, and you got Josiah Reed, 295. You got Santiago, 310. Meja, 320. Yates Spencer, 340. Beiser, 300 pounds. Bellevue West has not missed all-you-can-eat buffet, and they are bringing in big bodies and stopping this run game.
Back to pass, Shelton down the seam, has a receiver, and it's through the hands of Alex Dawes. He would have had 6.
Yeah.
He had blown past the secondary. It was a beautiful ball from Thatcher Shelton, and Dawes lets it go through the breadbasket, and it's an incomplete pass. And Lincoln Southwest, instead of scoring a touchdown and turning this into a one-possession game, they're going to go 3 and out and have to punt it away.
Man, Dawes wish he had that one back, and I don't know whether he wasn't expecting it or not. A little bit of Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown, but he had ran a seam route and cut it into a skinny post, and the defense from Bellevue West was not ready. That's a crucial 6 points, potentially 7, that they wish they had back.
The punt, it might have been blocked as well at the point of attack there, and it is a very short punt. This is a disastrous start for Lincoln Southwest. Bellevue West is going to take over 1st and 10 on the plus side of the 50. We're looking at, it's going to be where they mark it officially at the 43-yard line. It was a 3-yard punt.
Yeah, it must have been blocked or a little bit of a slice off of his foot. But more importantly, Nick, when you see, mistakes happen, obviously you never want to make a mistake in a game like this. And you see just the body language, the losers lean already. Obviously you have a big drop down for a touchdown and then obviously a blocked punt. Someone on that Southwest Silverhawk sideline has got to get the energy up and then obviously get the competitive nature going as well.
1st and 10 from the Silverhawks 43. Take a shot territory. That's exactly what Bellevue West is doing, and it's just out of reach for the intended receiver. They were trying to get it for the first time tonight. I believe that was to Bryce Johnson down the far sideline. Will Anderson threw it just out of reach of the 6'3" receiver.
Yeah, Teague didn't. I think he might have underestimated his speed, but that also lets you know the connection between Will Anderson and Johnson. He threw it and was going to throw him open and really trust his senior receiver. That's all everything, and it pretty much has been unstoppable all season long.
2nd down and 10 now from the 43-yard line. Bellevue West able to do everything they wanted to. Pressure off the side. Robinson did not get to him in time. Just missed sacking Will Anderson. Anderson able to stand in there to complete the pass to Johnson. It's a gain of 9 on the play, 3rd down and 1.
Yeah, Southwest can get a stop here and force Bellevue West to punt or think about punting. It's a win. So it's 3rd and 2, and you got to expect to run. They've been able to run with quite some ease with Tristan James because Robinson is on the bench, and so you got to expect run here or short area pass game.
Yeah, Tristan James to the right hip of Anderson, and that's going to be a false start on the offensive line. I believe they're going to get number 70. Josiah Reed may have jumped a little soon. There was a couple of guys that may have flinched.
Yeah, I mean Southwest is a little bit deady over here on the sideline, but now when you start to get some positive momentum, whether it's created by yourself indirectly or directly, you got to take advantage of it. So now they have them in 3rd and manageable. It might change your defensive call, but it doesn't change the process. Keep them to as many minimum yards as possible and force them to punt.
Lincoln Southwest starting to crowd that line defensively. A couple of DBs in one-on-one coverage, especially on the near side. Anderson looking that way, has plenty of time, stands up in the pocket, is able to deliver a strike to the near side. That's number 14, Grant Jones on the reception. A beautiful ball by Will Anderson. Great protection up front as Lincoln Southwest brought some guys.
Yeah, it lets you know that Bellevue West was probably going to go for it on 4th down anyways. A super aggressive play call with a little bit of a China route with a 7 cut off of it. Really good pass there by Will Anderson.
It's a gain of 22 up to the 22-yard line for Bellevue West. 2.5 minutes on the dot to go in the first quarter. Bellevue West leads at 13-0 here in the first quarter of action. They motion the running back from left to right of Will Anderson. Snap back to pass. Looking, has to escape. And for the first time tonight, Will Anderson's going to go down for a sack as the offensive line tries to push his way forward. They're not going to blow this dead. Now Will Anderson continues to drive the pile, and they're actually going to get a gain of a yard.
Yeah, I mean, Will Anderson better be careful there. I mean, he had 4 Southwest Silverhawks attempting to take his head off, and they got some pretty good licks on him. Really good job by their offensive line of pushing him past the line of scrimmage so it won't be a sack. But that also lets you know the difference in the togetherness of the team and the offensive line. They made a mistake, but they're going to make up for it. But now not allowing a sack officially.
2nd down and 9, less than 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Snap back. He looks to pass. Quick pass out far side. It's hauled in. Here's Johnson able to juke a little bit. Bounces outside and gets shoved out of bounds shy of the 1st down line to gain. But it's still going to make it a 3rd and very manageable, which Bellevue West in their bag on offense right now.
Yeah, they're able to. Whether the few times they've been behind chains, they decide to be really, really aggressive to throw you off balance. And when they need to be aggressive, they're awful conservative, and they do a really good job of blocking out on the perimeter, catching the ball. That's why you have a quarterback in Will Anderson coming in with 1,400 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. and pretty much being the optimal efficiency at quarterback position.
Great job by Lincoln Southwest. They played the run defensively and able to take Tristan James down for a loss of 2 on the play, and that's going to make it 4th down and 4 now from the 17-yard line in decision time for head coach Michael Huffman on that Bellevue West sideline.
Yeah, I think if Coach Huffman, there's 2 ways to go at it. You feel very, confident in your team. You have a great quarterback and receivers, and then you've been able to run the ball at will, or do you go for 3 points? But when I think the way the defense has been playing, you can go for it on 4th down because you feel very comfortable getting the ball back.
They're going to go for it, 2 wides each side. Empty shotgun set, back to pass. Anderson, quick slant. It's hauled in by Johnson. He'll have the 1st down. And Bellevue West, a nice, easy, routine pitch and catch. It looked like they've done that 100 times.
Yeah, Prague was way off of him on 4th and short, and they just pretty much ran a quick under route, and that's what they've been doing probably since they've been in 4th grade. So a good pitch and catch there by Anderson and Johnson.
So Bellevue West won't have to snap it before the end of the quarter if they don't want to. It's about a 3-second differential between the game clock and the play clock, as there's 10 seconds showing on the scoreboard that sits beyond the south end zone here at Seacrest Field. 5 and counting, as Will Anderson doesn't look like he's going to snap this ball, and he'll let the first quarter expire, a first quarter that belonged to Bellevue West in totality. They lead it 13-0 after they scored a defensive touchdown on the scoop and score. And when we come back to start the second period of play, they will be on the doorstep. It'll be 1st and goal from the 10 for Bellevue West offense when we return. The T-Birds leading at 13-0 over Lincoln Southwest here on 93.7 The Ticket.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
Hey, it's Jake Sorensen. Tune in this Friday as Early Break with myself, Steve Sipple, and Bill Bush broadcast from the Nebraska Army National Guard hangar ahead of the air show this weekend. You won't want to miss this one. That's this Friday for Early Break from 6 to 8 a.m. at the Nebraska Army National Guard hangar.
Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Start of the second quarter, Nick Sainert, Jay Foreman with you. Lincoln Southwest trying to bow up here defensively. It's 1st and goal for Bellevue West on their 10-yard line as they lead at 13-0. Anderson, it's the first time we have snaps to the left side of the 50-yard line that's closer to us up here in the Seacrest press box. They give it to James. Great job defensively. He tried to plant that right foot and cut up the center of the field, but a trio of Silverhawk defenders were there, led by Garrett Rathbun and Evan Robinson, 2 names we've called multiple times tonight. You feel like while those guys are the leaders, some other guys on that defense certainly have to do their job as well.
Yeah, everybody's got to step it up a little bit because with Rathbun, Hoy, and obviously Robinson have really been active, and obviously you want to get Milius going, number 11. They're a pretty good defensive in there, but they need to play better on 1st down like they did just there to get them a chance to get off the field.
2nd down and goal. Anderson back to pass. Pressure off the side. Milius trying to track him down. He's able to evade some pressure. Throws it off his back foot in the end zone. Touchdown, Bellevue West. Tristan James on the 11-yard pitch and catch from Anderson to James. James has a 2nd score of the night, and Bellevue West leads it 19-0.
Yeah, that's the thing right there. You're looking at Will Anderson to James. A great job by James playing off schedule. You had Milius coming free on the backside, but somebody on the play side forgot to do what, Nick? Set the edge and contain the quarterback. I think sometimes when you see a quarterback like Will Anderson having 1,400 yards and obviously 20 touchdowns and now 20 touchdowns now and 2 interceptions, you think all he does is drop back and pass. He is a very good athlete, can throw on the run. He scrambles the pass, so I think he's more dangerous than a runner. And Southwest Silverhawks learned a hard lesson right there, and I think the defensive coordinator is talking to him. If you're on the opposite side of a blitz or you're on the opposite side of the throwing hand of the quarterback, your job is to contain him no matter what, because once the quarterback goes back to the right side, which is his throwing hand, you have hands and bodies in his line of sight to throw the ball. and they learned a big lesson right there.
Yeah, Grant Tranowitz having conversations with Zach Teague and Alex Dawes. Teague has been one of those guys that Bellevue West has consistently kind of picked on the perimeter there defensively, having a tough night here. Bellevue West leads at 20-0 with 11:17 to go in the first half. Cliche, there's still plenty of time for Lincoln Southwest, but they could quickly blink and it'd be halftime and be down by 40.
And it's because of the you'd like to see a little bit more competitive nature. You'd like to see more energy, but then also the execution by Bellevue West has been impeccable on the offensive end. And, the lack of execution, obviously, on the quarterback or center quarterback exchange has been a really a thorn in the side of Southwest, because it's not just the two that we saw that led to a fumble recovery and touchdown. It's the ones that are high and throws off the timing of any potential run or pass play by the Silverhawks.
So the Bellevue West kick is going to be short, and it will be fielded by Rathbun at the 15-yard line. He's going to get chopped down and cut just past the 23-yard line, taken down at the 24. And here we go, Lincoln Southwest offense, a offense that sputtered and really only been able to move the chains in part to a Bellevue West penalty defensively. Last time Lincoln Southwest was on the field, they got a 3-and-out, and they had to punt it away after Alex Dawes had allowed a touchdown pass to go through his arms. And the drive before that, it was a scoop and score for Bellevue West after the fumbled snap. But it looks like for the first time today, we're going to see Noah Curtis in the backfield, as it'll be lined up I formation, Shelton under center. 1st and 10 from the 24-yard line. One wide out each side. They turn, hand it off. Here's Curtis. Almost fumbled the handoff, and he's taken down from behind in the backfield. Rather, that is number 4. That is Emmett Sanchez, a guy we kind of saw come in late in the game last week in the win against Lincoln Northeast. He's here playing some snaps early in the second quarter.
Yeah, every running back they've played in the last few weeks has been very, very productive, but it was a really good job by the Bellevue West defender, number 48, Easton Monolex. He came off the right side on a run blitz and ran him down on the backside. Really good effort there by the Bellevue West Thunderbirds.
Play action pass. Shelton going to take a shot downfield. Has a receiver, and it's out of the reach for number 15, Jacob Terwilliger. Shelton missed him. Thatcher Shelton had a touchdown if Terwilliger is able to haul that pass in, and instead now 3rd and 11 from their own 23-yard line. And this is not where you want to be if you're Lincoln Southwest.
No, it's an opportunity there, 2 of them, right? And if it was a 5th, and you know what that comes after that. But these are the plays that you have to make when you're trying to either really start off fast in the game or get back into the game, and Southwest has not been able to come up with either opportunity there on a deep pass.
So 3rd down and 11 from the 23. Shotgun snap, high snap, able to be corralled. Shot downfield. It's intended for Kevin Richardson, who was open again. Jay, it's incomplete, so Lincoln Southwest will punt this one away. Right. These are passes that Thatcher Shelton's just missing right now. Bellevue West is playing their DB so close to the line, playing the run, that time and time again, Lincoln Southwest has been able to beat them in coverage.
Yeah, it's pitch and catch, and those are the type of routes that you run. And when you warm up, we call it routes on air, and we just have not seen Southwest being able to complete them. And to your point, Nick, they're not close. And so you want to give your receivers a chance to run underneath it, but sometimes you got to put it on them and give them a chance to just make a play.
Somewhat of a wobbly punt, fair catch signaled for and hauled in at the Bellevue West 42-yard line by Kyrie Smith. And that is where Bellevue West will set up shop 1st and 10 at their own 42. So a better punt there that time than it was last time. And this one a little bit longer than 3-yard punt. But with 1st and 10 now at their own 42-yard line, Bellevue West, it feels like their offense has been out there on the field the entirety of the game.
Well, I mean, Will Anderson and company love this. And then you got to think, if I'm Southwest, I feel very comfortable, or not, a little bit lucky that Bryce Johnson hasn't started to get busy on us. I mean, he's through the first quarter and has the about 3-yard first down catch. And he's averaging over 100 yards a game and 6 touchdowns. So it's a matter of time before he gets going.
It's 20-0. They turn, hand it off. Here's the first down carry as the ball handler able to skirt his way across the 50-yard line. That's a gain of 13 on the play. DeMarcus Robinson, the ball carrier. 1st and 10 for Bellevue West as they are already in Lincoln Southwest territory.
Yeah, Robinson is slight in build, but he runs behind his pads. And like I said, from the very beginning, Bellevue West has felt like they can come in and run the ball, and you didn't think that would ever happen against Southwest Silverhawks. So they are dictating the pace at the line of scrimmage very, very effectively right now.
The difference is in what both sides are able to do defensively right now is pretty stark. I'll talk about it in just a moment as Anderson is able to chuck it downfield. It's hauled in, touchdown, wow. Bellevue West. That's number 6, Jermaine Green on the 44-yard completion, and Bellevue West has blown this one open in the early stages of the second quarter. They lead at 26-0. Anderson scrambled up in the pocket. It looked like he was getting ready to cross the line of scrimmage. He kind of threw off just his right leg across his body, working to his left, down the middle. Jermaine Green, outstretched arms, 6 points for Bellevue West.
Rolling to your left, having your shoulder square enough to hit a fast charging receiver in Green, put it on the money. That's a big time play by Will Anderson, and really, really heads up play there by Green coming on the backside. He saw his quarterback scrambling. He read the defense on the run. Now you're looking at 27-0, and there's Southwest Silverhawks. There's 10 minutes left in the second quarter. So a little bit of a fight back, a little bit of want to, needs to be infused on the side of that sideline ASAP.
Bellevue West is cruising. They lead at 27-0 with 9:48 to go in the second quarter. 27-0 as this Seacrest Field crowd, especially on the home sideline, dead. You could hear a pin drop on the near side. The stadium speakers are trying to play some music to get them hyped up. Student section is sitting down. It's already cleared out a little bit in comparison to what it was at kickoff. It wasn't great to start kickoff, but even now it's even lighter in the Southwest student section. And for Bellevue West, let's see, I'm looking over there, 2, 4, 6, 7 students that traveled for Bellevue West standing along the railing on the first row. I've liked what they've seen so far here tonight. Bellevue West cruising. They're up 27-0 as Lincoln Southwest will get the ball back here in just a moment. 9:48 remains in the second quarter of play. And each time Bellevue West has kicked it short, and this time they're going to boot it deep. It's going to be fielded at the 5-yard line. Here's Luke Mitchell Emmett Sanchez. He trips on his own guy, and he's going to be taken down at the 23-yard line. There is a penalty flag on the play, sitting on the numbers at the 3 of the 30-yard line.
Yeah, Southwest can't afford a holding call there at the point of attack, but that puts them way, way behind the chains and obviously backed up towards their end zone. And so from Coach Tranowich, I'm trying to get anything positive. I got to go back to my bread and butter. I got to get the play called or plays called that I know they can run. I'm still going to take shots, but we got to also put a little bit more pressure on a quarterback to put it on the money.
So it's going to be a penalty on the kickoff, charge to Lincoln Southwest. And this offense that has struggled immensely here in the first, 15 minutes of game time, if that, 14 minutes and 17 seconds to be exact. It was a personal foul face mask penalty against Lincoln Southwest. And so that'll make it even farther back. And so it is going to be 1st and 10.
Yeah, and you know what? You're trying to block them on the kickoff, and obviously Bellevue West is seeing a little bit of blood in the water, right? And, the Thunderbirds that came down here to prove a point, and Southwest was a game opponent, at least on paper. And so what they have to do now for Southwest, you got to get it going. Because if they don't get it going here in the next 9 minutes, going into halftime, they could be at home before the night kickoff of the late game on any other networks.
27-0 your score. They're having some conversations about the ball, the spot of the ball. They called the penalty at the 30-yard line, and I believe it's just going to be a 5-yard penalty. Oh, no. So they changed it. The face mask was on Bellevue West.
Yeah, I think it was. I'm not sure who it was, but number 87, Brody Schwager, was asking for that call. He was disappointed when he saw the initial call, but cooler heads, prevailed. And so now, look, again, this is another opportunity for Southwest not only to get some momentum, but you're getting free yards here from Bellevue West. And if they don't get anything going here, could spell some trouble.
I mean, I don't know, Jay. I'm not one to criticize. How do you mess that call up in the first place? How do you have the miscommunication?
When you got purple, gold, and white, and then you got green, white, they kind of all look the same.
I guess so. If you got bad eyesight, that's why you get LASIK.
Yeah.
All right, Thatcher Shelton, first down carry, gets it 10 yards. I'm kind of baffled there because they had moved the ball. All the referees saw them move the ball 15 yards in favor of Bellevue West, and then said, wait, we need to move it actually 30 yards now from this spot because 15 yards back to the original then plus 15 for Bellevue West.
Thanksgiving Day between Detroit and Pittsburgh. Sometimes you hear things
I guess so.
that you want to hear.
So it's the first down of the game for Lincoln Southwest that didn't come thanks to a Bellevue West penalty, and it comes at the 9:25 mark in the second quarter. First down snap, Shelton, quick pass near side. It's dropped by Richardson. It went off his face mask. He had it. It was right in the chest, and it went through his hands, bounced up in the air off his face mask. It falls incomplete.
Yeah, the worst part for Richardson is Vincent Garza came over and laid a licking on him right there. He pretty much penalized him for dropping it. Sometimes that happens, Nick, when you're thinking about running before you catch it. Learning lesson there for the young sophomore receiver.
Second down and 10. And Lincoln Southwest in the passing game has been able to get some guys open. Thatcher Shelton just struggled to deliver the mail so far to this point. Second down and 10, though, 9:20 to go in the first half. Back to pass, Shelton, pass in the seam. It's hauled in. A couple of tackles are broken. Now up the right side, it's Stroop. He's across the 42-yard line and taken out of bounds at the 40. Another first down on the gain of 12.
Yeah, Nick, I like your point there. I think Southwest Silverhawks have done a good job of pass blocking against this aggressive Bellevue West defense. And then also as far as Shelton goes, there's been opportunities, a really good catch there by Gavin Stroop, and then also a better job of breaking tackles and run after the catch.
So first and 10 from the Bellevue West 40-yard line. This will be the first time Lincoln Southwest snaps it in enemy territory here tonight. 9 minutes, 11 seconds to go in the second quarter. Lincoln Southwest trails 27-0 to the Bellevue West Thunderbirds. Three wideouts far side. They're looking that way. Thatcher Shelton on a little bit of a slot fade, and it's going to be incomplete, well out of reach of Stroop. He threw it into double coverage. That one was going to be tough for Stroop to come down with.
Yeah, probably a predetermined call right there to try to get an explosive play. You had the under route there by Dawes open. But you know what? It's take a shot area. You're down by 27 points. I like the play call, and I like the decision to get it out of bounds as well.
27-0, 9:06 to play in the first half. Bellevue West leads it. Lincoln Southwest is on offense, though, at the T-Birds 40-yard line. Second down and 10 here in the second quarter. Thatcher Shelton, the quarterback, to his left hip is Emmett Sanchez. They turn, hand it off here. Sanchez trying to navigate his way up the middle. He gets rocked by number 37. Vincent Garza was the first Bellevue West defender in on the stop, and Sanchez felt that one after a gain of just 2.
Yeah, Vincent Garza is not playing any games. He laid a licking on Richardson. Now he got Sanchez. Listen, 37 is bringing a punch with him, and he's trying to make sure that Southwest Silverhawks doesn't put any points on the board tonight.
27-0, third down and 8 now officially from the 38-yard line for Lincoln Southwest. As you imagine you got 2 plays to get 8 yards if you're the Silverhawks offense. They turn back to pass. Shelton getting pressure. Great pickup by the running back Sanchez. And Shelton's off to the races. Inside the 20-yard line, running towards the far pylon. He's in. Touchdown, Lincoln Southwest. 38 yards. Scramble and score for Thatcher Shelton. And the Lincoln Southwest Silverhawks finally strike the scoreboard with 8:18 to go in the second quarter.
Really good job there by Shelton, obviously tucking in and running it, and the speed to outrun number 4, Smith, to the end zone. And that's sometimes what you need. You need one player to take it in his hands and make a play, and that's what they've been waiting for, and that's what the fans have been waiting for. So hopefully they're up and understanding. Sometimes, Nick, I think, like with these Lincoln teams, you work all week, show up at the game, and you pretty much beat yourself before you start playing, and then now you're in the middle of the second quarter in a dogfight and down by potentially 20 points, knowing now that you can play, but you spend a quarter and a half wondering versus just showing up and ready to go.
The point after is up, and it is good. And with 8:18 to go in the second quarter, it's 27-7. Let's step aside, come back in 30 seconds here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Attention, Nebraska sports fans. Are you ready to take your skills to the next level? The Army National Guard is looking for leaders who are dedicated, driven, and ready to make a difference. Join up and gain invaluable experience while serving your country with a flexible schedule, competitive benefits, and a chance to build a strong future. Learn more at nationalguard.com/Nebraska. Live here, serve here. The Nebraska Army National Guard. Guard the good life.
Welcome back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All righty, so from 38 yards out, Thatcher Shelton able to get Lincoln Southwest on the board on the scramble. It was a nice blitz pickup by the running back Emmett Sanchez as he was able to evade the defender and keep his quarterback clean and able to get him to run. but it's 27-7 now. Lincoln Southwest will kick things off back to the Bellevue West Thunderbirds. Lincoln Southwest, just a reminder, they won the toss. They deferred to the second half, so they'll get the ball to start the third quarter. If they can get a stop here, Jay, potentially, maybe they found a little bit of something on offense there. They were aided by that face mask penalty on the Bellevue West kickoff. It started them out with some positive field position, but ultimately Lincoln Southwest finally able to find the scoreboard.
Yeah, I mean, really good job there of finally taking advantage of the Christmas gifts that Bellevue West has been given. Now it's up to the defense now. See if you made some adjustments, but more importantly, up your execution and see if you can keep yourself in this game.
Kickoff, it's going to be fielded on the far sideline. Tiptoeing that sideline is the return man. That's number 10, Kyrie Smith, and he's out of bounds, hit well just past the 20-yard line, and so Will Anderson and this Bellevue West offense back out onto the field, leading 27-7.
Yeah, really good job there by Shelton, taking it in his own hands, scoring, get it, 7 points for your team. Now it's really on the senior-led defense, the star-studded defense that we've seen over the first 5 or 6 weeks of the season. Keep them actually in every game and be very, very competitive. They're struggling a little bit tonight, but you know what? There's plenty left on the clock to turn it around.
1st and 10 from the 21-yard line. 8:13 to go until halftime. Bellevue West leads it by 20, 27-7. We have a stoppage in play, and looks like they're having a conversation with the center. That's number 73. Rather, no, it's not because they don't have a 73 on their roster. 70, thank you, Josiah Reed. Shotgun snap, back to pass Anderson, looking left side. He's going to take a shot downfield, heads up. Here's Bryce Johnson in one-on-one coverage. He's able to snag it out of the air. Here goes Johnson inside the 25-yard line. He sheds Teague. He cuts back to the center of the field. One play, touchdown. 79 yards. Will Anderson to Bryce Johnson, and Bellevue West strikes right back.
Yeah, just like that. Bryce Johnson said, I got to get my average per catch up. And you know what's going to happen? I think before we got, discombobulated by the ref talking to the senior, Coach Hoffman is trying to get 2 for 1 here, right? So you expect him to be very, very aggressive on this drive, which he was, and had the one-on-one coverage against Teague. A really good job of Bryce Johnson, what we talk about all the time, Nick, tracking the ball, high pointing the ball, run after the catch, double dead leg, spin out of a tackle, speed enough to take it to the house. That's a phenomenal play there by Will Anderson and Bryce Johnson versus a bad play versus Teague. So sometimes really good players make good plays, and that was a good play call and even a better outcome for the Bellevue West Thunderbirds.
So immediately after Lincoln Southwest finally scores a touchdown, Bellevue West, it takes them one play. They take a shot. Anderson to Bryce Johnson up the near side, outside the numbers. Johnson was able to snag it with his fingertips over the smaller Teague. They continue to pick on Zach Teague. We talked about it earlier.
Yeah. Well,
Johnson,
that's what teams have tried to do all year, and he's held up pretty much. And Johnson is I'm sure, besides Marion Jackson, I'm sure there's other really good receivers, but I would say that Bryce Johnson is probably the second best receiver in the state right now, and he's on a record pace. And he's a really good athlete. They have a really good quarterback. They have a really good system. And when you start to study what they have over there, you also have to study the mindset. Bellevue West is trying to put the dagger in the heart right now. You scored. We're coming back to score. Not that we're going to play, tit for tat and play little kick games. We're going to try to hit you with a big play. Now the defense is on to try to get the ball back for this offense.
7:59 to go in the second quarter. It's 37-7 as Bellevue West 34-7. I apologize. Just like that. Bellevue West kicks it. Emmett Sanchez fields it at the 3. He's off to the races. On the return, a blowout block by Bellevue West, and number 42, who is running down to get him, Carlos Montalvo, just laid a lick on one of the blockers for Southwest.
Yeah, whoever's the kickoff coach there for Bellevue West is setting the tone. Carlos Montalvo came down like a Nebraska legend on kickoff, dollar bill Billy Legate. He's blowing everybody up. Doesn't matter where the ball is. Good job there by Bellevue West. Now, listen, if you're Southwest, you're thinking the opposite now. Let's try to get a time-consuming drive, get points on the board. We get it back at the second half. Let's see what they do right here.
First and 10 from their own 18-yard line as Lincoln Southwest trails it 34-7 to Bellevue West here in this one. Shotgun formation, 2 wideouts near side, running back to the right side of Thatcher Shelton. They send a man in motion and a penalty flag on the play, and they're going to get, I believe, a guy on the offensive line, a false start, potentially maybe even Gavin Stroop on that motion.
Yeah, you got to be set before you go into motion. Look a little bit of a motion to jet sweep, and so sometimes you can press a little bit. And if you're Southwest Silverhawks, you got to take the same mindset that you had, last drive. I mean, you can't control what happens on the defensive side of the ball. You only can control what you do. And so right now, I think Noah Curtis is in there at running back, and so let's be interested to see what the play calls they match up with the personnel right now.
So now 1st and 15 from their own 13-yard line. Shelton back in the shotgun. They hand it off on first down and going nowhere. The ball carrier stopped at the line of scrimmage. Second down, and I guess they are going to give him a yard, and so it's going to be 2nd down and 14 after the carry.
Santiago is not playing games in the middle. He is a big man that's athletic, and he is not allowing anybody to get anything going north and south. So I think what Southwest is going to have to try to do is go to more of that off-the-tackle stretch outside zone, but they got to get really good perimeter blocking in order to get the running game going.
2nd down and 14 from the 14-yard line of Lincoln Southwest. 7:05 to play in the second quarter. Back to pass Shelton, looking downfield, escapes the pocket, rolling to his right, trying to look back left. He's going to keep it and scramble across the 20, and he'll just escort himself out of bounds at the 26-yard line. A good gain on 2nd and 14, gets a gain of 12.
Yeah, good job by Shelton. He gave Mr. Garza the dead leg there, and I think he mistook Shelton for a slow quarterback, and a good job by Shelton of getting an explosive run play, taking it in your hand. One thing you can say about Shelton, right, he's been a little bit off on the deep passes, missed opportunities, but as we've seen him over the last couple of weeks, he's become more comfortable being the guy, and you see him make more plays, more individual plays on and off schedule.
3rd down and 3, looking up the seam. It's hauled in. This is a first down as Stroop has it, and he'll be taken down just shy of the 40-yard line by number 44, Dontel McNeil, the 5'9 junior linebacker, in on the stop, but not until Lincoln Southwest gets a first down across the 35-yard line and down at the 38 of Lincoln Southwest. We do have an injured Bellevue West T-Bird down on the field. We'll step aside while they tend to him. We'll be back in just a few moments here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Ready to score big with your projects? Look no further than Edward Stone, the MVP of natural stone for over 2 decades. Edward Stone is cranking out over 30,000 square feet every week and offers a winning lineup of over 70 quality natural veneer stone selections. Their unbeatable variety and experienced team will ensure your project is a success, whether it's a home renovation or a commercial build. And hey, they're not just about stone. They've got an all-star lineup of fireplaces, cast stone, brick, and much more. Swing by one of their locations in Lincoln or Omaha today and experience the Edward Stone difference, your reliable choice for over 20 years.
Your possibilities are endless at Doane University. Rooted in liberal arts, you can choose from undergraduate and graduate programs, all delivering real-world experience. At Doane University, we take a personal approach to education, giving you the guidance you need to own your future. It's not just our long history of innovative learning, it's the feeling of being surrounded by possibilities that makes us different. Now is your time. Apply today at doane.edu/apply.
Welcome back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. The injured Bellevue West T-Bird was Axel Vasquez, and he was able to walk off the field under his own power here on 1st and 10. They're going to keep it with Thatcher Shelton, will the Silverhawks, and he gets a nice gain of 5 yards up to the 43-yard line. Lincoln Southwest starting to find something in maybe the quarterback run game here. 2nd down and 5 coming up in just a moment.
Quarterback run game, short area pass games, things that worked out well last week. I like them going back to it.
Quick pass out far side. It's no, they're going to make it incomplete. It was intended for number 18, Jackson Ellis, on the far side. And rather than a 3rd down and maybe 1, it's going to be 3rd down and 5 after the incomplete pass.
Yeah, you need that. I think Shelton, he needs to clean up his footwork there, and he kind of short-armed it out there. You had a receiver wide open. You'd like to get that so you continue to be at or ahead of the chains going into 3rd down.
3rd down and 5, 6:07 to go in the second quarter. Bellevue West trying to get off the field, and give it right back to their offense to try to extend this lead. 3rd down and 5 from the 43-yard line. 34-7. Bellevue West leads it over Lincoln Southwest here in the halfway point in the second quarter. Pass down the seam. It's intended for Dawes. This time he's able to haul it in, and it's going to be a first down inside the Bellevue West 35-yard line as he was just able to find the soft spot down the middle.
Yeah, it's the same play he wasn't able to come up with in the first quarter. They went right back to it, and it's been wide open both times. Good catch there by Dawes, and he made a diving catch, and it was a big catch on 3rd down because they needed the momentum and also got across the 50-yard line.
1st and 10 from now the 33-yard line of Bellevue West. 5:45 and counting here in the second quarter. Lincoln Southwest trails it 34-7 to Bellevue West. Thatcher Shelton in the shotgun. Noah Curtis off to his left side, 3 wideouts far side. Back to pass Shelton. He looks right now, evades pressure left. He's going to be running up the middle. He'll be stopped after a short gain of 4 or 5, but there is a penalty marker back at the 40-yard line. And here's the thing, Jay. That'll be 10 yards from the spot of the foul. That's going to back it up all the way to the 50-yard line. If my math is correct, that's going to make it first down and 27.
Yeah, they got big Sam Watson there, the left tackle there for Southwest. A little bit of hold on the rush there by number 56, Raphael Liao Wong, 5'9", 195-pound defensive lineman. Bellevue West is bringing all different types of body types, sizes, speed at this big physical Southwest offensive line.
You were right, Jay. It was not a spot foul, and so instead it's going to be 1st and 20. You were right about that. 1st and 20 from now.
I know that, Nick, is because I've been on the other side of that.
You haven't been the one committing them. You've been the one that's
making it
fell victim to the hold.
And I used to walk off the yards.
Yeah, 43-yard line, 1st and 20. You're probably the one that flailed and tried to draw attention to it when it wasn't a hold. Noah Curtis with the carry gets a nice gain up across the 35-yard line, gain of 9.
Generally, when you get way, way behind the chains like that, you're trying to get a play that you can get a positive play, most importantly. But second of all, if you're able to get something that gets the yards back, you can consider it a win. A good 9-yard run there by Noah Curtis to getting his first carry or second carry of the night with positive results.
2nd down and 11. Inside 5 minutes until halftime here. Shotgun snap. They back to pass. Shelton looking, surveying, throws it right side, and just kind of short arms it, intended for Kevin Richardson on the near side. And we had a little extracurricular between a couple of players, between number 74, Micah Santiago, and number 75 for Lincoln Southwest, Cole Nelson. Nelson hit the turf. 3rd down and 11 coming up.
Cole Nelson is about 6'3", 275, and Santiago is about 6'3", 320 pounds. Those are 2 big dudes going at it. And one Cole Nelson, Cole Nelson, a little bit of a flop there. But Santiago, you know what? I like it. You know what? They shook hands, good sportsmanship. That's the best play of the day so far.
3rd down and 11. Shelton back to pass, looking, gets pressure up the middle. He throws into coverage. It's tipped and almost intercepted. It falls incomplete. There were a trio of T-Bird defenders in coverage. It was intended for Alex Dawes coming across the middle, and that brings up 4th down and 11 and decision time for Grant Trenowitz.
You know, Nick, one of the things that, obviously I know it was 3rd and 11, but one of the things I liked with Southwest is, started at the second half of last week, and then obviously at times tonight is being on schedule, getting Shelton outside of the pocket, but the short area passing game, the intermediate passing game, the easy throws allows the receivers to run after the catch and create big plays.
So they're going to go for it. 4th down and 11 from the 34-yard line. Shelton looking, surveying, throws it out near side. It's incomplete. Even if it was hauled in, he would have been about 8 yards short of the first down line to gain. And so now a turnover on downs. And you can't imagine that that's what Coach Tranowitz had in mind for a 4th down play.
No, when you keep fading back, that actually makes it from 4th and 11 to actually 4th and 21 because it becomes a harder throw and a longer throw. And so that's an inexperience of Shelton. He's got to come to the sideline, regroup, and try to get back on track.
4:39 to play in the second quarter. 34-7 is your score. Out in front by 27 points are the Bellevue West Thunderbirds. Trips out near side on the shallow side of the field. They turn, they hand it off. Here's Tristan James taken down from behind for the first time. No, he's not. He is able to evade it. Somehow gets out of the pile, and he's off for a touchdown. Bellevue West. I don't know how he got out of that, Jay Foreman.
Yeah, that was DeMarcus Robinson. I don't know if it was in the mesh between the RPO between him and Anderson, or sometimes when you kind of just jump on guys and I call it drag tackling, where you're not really running your feet. Robinson did a really good job of keeping his feet going. They, break the tackles, and now you have an explosive run. One of the things I said earlier, between number 15, Tristan James, and obviously number 5, Demarcus Robinson, who had a great run there, 5'8", 165 pounds running back. Both of them are not the biggest running backs like we've seen, right? But both of them run behind their pads. More importantly, one thing that I picked up on the offensive line, and we saw this on the potential sack of Will Anderson, the offensive line keeps pushing. What does that mean? That means they're going to try to get to every single yard. Even if you're making a tackle, they're trying to push you off their running back. On the flip side, when you see this from Bellevue West, what do? They gang tackle, right? They're running back from Southwest, and they knock them back. I think it's more the mental advantage that they've came in here and imposed their will on Southwest versus the athletic ability gap or edge, which isn't very much. We've seen Southwest 3 times this year, right?
Yeah.
And we've seen them 2 or 3 times last year. They're a good-looking team coming out of the locker room. Athletes, we've seen them. Some of them are multi-sport athletes. We see them in track. We see them in basketball, baseball, and obviously football. They're the same athletes that you got over there at Bellevue West, or I would say this, they're not 34 points less than Bellevue West. That's a fair enough assessment. So now you got to come to the biggest gap because obviously it's been on the front page of every news outlet between Lincoln and Omaha and in surrounding areas. How do you lessen that gap? It's more mental. It's more dedication. It's more sacrifice that you got to be, bigger, faster, stronger, because then that's where the belief comes from when you get out here on a big game live on stage against a Metro team and you don't find yourself down 34 points with 4 minutes left in the first half.
Kickoff, it's going to be in the end zone for a touchback. With that, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification here on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Welcome back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nick Sainer, Jay Foreman with you here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com, a matchup that's been controlled and dominated by Bellevue West. They lead at 41-7 with still 4.5 minutes to go until halftime.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look. We came in the game thinking it was a transition year for Bellevue West. We kind of looked at the stats, looked at the scores of every game that they lost. Extremely competitive. Defense has been stout. Offense has been spectacular. Tonight's no different.
1st and 10 from the 20. They turn, play action, looking. Shelton off his back foot, able to haul it into Rathba, or rather, this is number 14, Owen Helkin, and he gets a gain of 8 up to the 28.
That's another play that we liked with Shelton in their last game. A little bit of a waggle, half bootleg. You give him one option, or you could tuck and run. Really good job there by number 14 of avoiding the would-be rusher and getting it for a positive gain.
So now 2nd down and 1 from the 29-yard line. We are inside 4 minutes to go until the halftime break. 2nd down and 1. Under center, it's Thatcher Shelton. One wide out each side. It's I formation. As Shelton turns, he hands it off. The running back able to kind of barrel his way forward for a gain of 2 up to the 31-yard line. And that was number 1, Luke Mitchell, on the carry.
Yeah, Luke Mitchell getting his first action, and obviously he was very effective in the first game we watched him earlier in the year against North Star. And so now what I like there by Trainer, which we want to get a first down. You're looking at the clock. You're looking 2 possessions here, right, Nick? Because you get it here before half, get it coming out of halftime. So you got to get some positive results here in the last 3 minutes.
Another handoff here. Mitchell trying to bounce it outside, able to shed one tackler, and then it gets laid out. Just kind of sandwiched by number 15 was the first one. Tristan James was the first one to greet him in the second level, and Luke Mitchell probably feeling that one.
Between Tristan James and number 37, Vincent Garza, somebody listen. They must have missed a date back in Bellevue, because they hit like they're mad at somebody tonight. Tristan James is he's probably mad at his man Robinson got the long touchdown, so he's got to take it out on somebody. It was a really good physical tackle there by James.
Luke Mitchell a little banged up on the sideline, kind of got sandwiched. Another nice tackle on this completed pass. Tristan James in on the stop again. He's all over the place. Luke Mitchell trying to stretch out the lower part of his back, kind of hit the turf. That one you saw it from up here, Jay. I mean that was intense. That was a hit.
Yeah, I mean
he's still trying to stretch it out.
Yeah, that was a pretty impressive hit there by Tristan James. And then he backed it up again with a really good open field tackle. You know, he's a really good running back, and he's shifty, right? We've seen him make some guys miss. But I like him at safety, Nick. I like his closing speed, and I like his physicality.
2:15 to go in the second quarter. Third down and medium. 3rd and 5. Quick pass out far side, not anywhere close to being hauled in by number 35, Madden Schwager. And that's going to be 4th down and 5 coming up for the Lincoln Southwest offense. And they're quickly rushing the offense off the field and the punting unit on. Now, here's the thing. Luke Mitchell's the punter. He was stretching out his right side of his back, which is the leg he punts with. We'll see what happens
we'll
here.
see what happens if you know,
he is not feeling it. He's feeling it.
When you're taking body blows and then they're going for the knockout punches. But I want to go back to Shelton here. The one thing that he probably really needs to clean up is just footwork. I think he has a lively arm. Obviously inexperienced, but he has to clean up his footwork so he can complete passes like that.
Great punt by Luke Mitchell inside the 20. How about that punt by Luke Mitchell as he booted that one from his own 25-yard line, and it's going to be downed inside the 20 at the 19-yard line. Nice job by Luke Mitchell there, and Bellevue West takes over inside their own 20-yard line, 1st and 10. If you're Bellevue West here,
you know what I'm doing.
Well, 41-7. You're trying to score, right?
Yeah.
Like you're not trying to embarrass them, but you're going to run your offense. But at the end of the day, Bellevue West has been able to do whatever they want.
Yeah, and so you know what? You got Johnson going, you got James in there, and then so you want to try to get Green going. And right now you have the Southwest Silverhawks defense on its heels, playing with absolutely no confidence. And so you got 2 minutes, and it's a good job you have a quarterback you believe that can run a 2-minute drill.
Where's Will Anderson? He's going to keep it on a read option and just escort himself out of bounds past the 25-yard line. Gain of 7 on the play, and it's going to bring up 2nd down and 3 with 1:57 to play until half.
Once again, you know, they're sped up a little bit only because there's 2 minutes left. They have 3 timeouts left, so they don't have to play in a hurry. And every single time on 1st down, it seems like they have had the perfect play call for the Southwest defense to get 5+ yards. They are cooking with peanut oil right now.
1:57 to go until half. 41-7 is your score in favor of Bellevue West. Low snap corralled by Anderson. He looks to pass. He's going to evade pressure, being chased down by Evan Robinson. Throws off his back foot, and it's unable to get it to an open receiver. Number 14, Grant Jones, was a guy that was kind of a ladder there, Jay. They had an intermediate route and then a deep route, and the ball kind of fell in between the two.
A little bit of flood route. We saw that with Michigan against Nebraska, and that was the first pass I felt like Will Anderson, obviously, you know, scrambling to his right, so you think that's probably a little bit easier throw, but it's actually not. Shortchanged that one there to his receiver, and so it's a missed opportunity for him. But you know what, Bellevue West, 3rd and 4. If they're not able to get it, it's going to be really interesting to decide to go for it, considering how well their defense is played.
3rd down and 4 from their own 26-yard line, 1:51 to play, 1 on the play clock. They get it off. Quick pass, a little bit of miscommunication between Anderson and Bryce Johnson. Johnson thought that he was going to go deep, and Anderson thought he was going to kind of cut back there. And now we'll see what Coach Michael Huffman wants to do. They're going to bring on the punting unit for the first time tonight.
Yeah, you know, Will Anderson wanted to throw the essentially easy stop route there to Johnson. Miscommunication, they'll try to get it back on track, and they're probably a little disappointed because with plenty of time on the clock, they scored in sometimes less than 2 minutes. Now with 2 minutes left, they were pretty much stymied by their lack of execution on their end.
So 1:48 to go until half. 41-7 is your score. Bellevue West on to punt things away. And it's going to be a punt on the right side of the field. It looked like he was going to fake it for a moment, but instead a little bit of a rugby-style kick. It bounces out of bounds right at midfield, and that is where Lincoln Southwest will take over.
Yeah, I think that was the option there for Will Anderson. If he got the look or if they had an all-out blitz, they had a fake punt call, an option to pretty much play it off of that. And then he was able to punt it to get some sort of positive yards. But I think you don't call things like that, Nick, unless you feel very confident in what you're able to do defensively. And with 3 timeouts left, don't think that Coach Hoffman isn't trying to get the ball back, considering he has a pretty explosive offense, and they won't get the ball back or get the ball to start the second half.
1:45 to go until the break. 41-7 is your score. It's been all Bellevue West here today. And Thatcher Shelton brings his offense back out into the field. He's out there with Emmett Sanchez, 3 wideouts near side, 1 to the top, right at midfield. 50-yard lines where the ball's planted. Back to pass Shelton. Dumps it off near side to Sanchez. Sanchez runs out of the backfield and he's taken down by a defender in waiting. Guess who? Number 37. Once again, there is Vincent Garza, and it's a gain of 4.
Yeah, Vincent Garza, is a really good tackler in the open field. And once he hits you, you're stopped. And so one thing I am impressed about Bellevue West, they are really good tacklers in the open field. And now you see Southwest Silverhawks with a untimely, unforced error, right? I think it's a legal formation or a legal sub. Oh, offsides.
It's offsides on Lincoln Southwest.
Yeah, we're seeing that again. Nick, remember we had 3 straight games with the wide receivers offsides. Number 15, Jacob Terwilliger, I think he was getting set. It probably was a little bit of a hasty flag, and he was trying to check with the ref if he was lined up correctly and moved his foot, and then he got an offside penalty.
2nd down and 10 now back at midfield. Back to pass, quick pass. It's hauled. No, it dropped now by Alex Dawes at the 45-yard line. Just no consistency, no comfort from this Lincoln Southwest team on offense.
Yeah, offensively, they have options there or have opportunities. And so when I talk about the footwork, and obviously I think Thatcher has played a really good game here, but I think for him to take the next step, and he could take something from Will Anderson. Will Anderson is able to throw from all different areas on the field and different arm angles because of his footwork is impeccable.
Here's Shelton back to pass. It's tipped around, and it's going to fall incomplete. And so with 1:04 to go in the second quarter, that feels like it's taken 3 years to finish. 41-7 is your score here in the final stages of the first half. Lincoln Southwest will punt it right back to Bellevue West.
Yeah, Bellevue West, lost possession of the ball with a minute and 45 seconds left. They're going to potentially get it with a minute left. Whether it's a 2-minute drill, 1-minute drill, you feel very confident with Will Anderson, obviously Johnson, Green. Also, number 14, Grant Jones, has shown the ability to get open and not only get open in short area passing game, but explosive plays.
So Mitchell on to punt. He boots this one away end over end as the returner Smith is drifting back, fields it at the 10-yard line, has a little bit of space, bounces outside, and is taken down just past the 20-yard line at the 21-yard line. And so with 54 seconds to go until the break, Bellevue West trots back out their offense onto the field.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what Bellevue West comes up with. 54 seconds left, 3 timeouts left. Probably a little bit disappointed in their last offensive possession. They're trying to get another score or potentially 3 points on the board before they go into halftime.
So 54 seconds to go. 41-7 is your score. 1st and 10 from their own 20. Anderson in the shotgun, trips out near side. They're back to pass. Anderson looking, steps up in the pocket, evades the pressure, rolling off to his left, throws away from his body, and it's going to be deflected, incomplete, out of bounds. And a nice job defensively, by number 15 for Lincoln Southwest, Jacob Terwilliger in coverage.
Good job there by Terwilliger of playing through the receiver to the ball, and a really even better job by the Southwest Silverhawks defensive line of flushing Will Anderson out to his left, and then allowed the defensive backfield to plaster, and so there was no opportunity for him to get a big play.
So 48 seconds now in the first half, 2nd down and 10. Anderson in the shotgun. Back to pass again on 2nd down. It's a screen play. They set it up, and it is able to be stopped. A nice job. I was going to say initially that it looked like they had him tackled down at the line of scrimmage, but somehow the receiver out of the backfield, DeMarcus Robinson, was still able to stay on his feet and get 5 yards.
Yeah.
And with 3rd down and 5 coming up, Grant Tranowitz calls his first timeout of the half.
Yeah, Tranowitz is thinking all right, I have 2 timeouts left after this. We get to stop another timeout, potentially a Hail Mary or a couple passes towards the end zone to try to get some points on the board. But they can't think about anything of that until they come up with a really good play call and execution on 3rd down, because this Bellevue West offense, at least up until the last series, and we'll see on this series, has been pretty efficient and effective on 3rd down.
So with 38 seconds to go, after a timeout on the field, it's 41-7. Make sure you stay tuned. Tristan Gomes will have your halftime show from back in our 93.7 The Ticket Studios. Update you on some of the scores from around the state. There's a lot of good matchups, not necessarily ones that are happening in Lincoln, but there's a lot of really good matchups elsewhere, especially in Class B. Elkhorn North traveled to Scott tonight. 41-7, though, is your score here at Seacrest Field in favor of the Bellevue West Thunderbirds. 38 seconds to go until half. Shotgun formation. One running back off to the left side of Will Anderson. Back to pass on 3rd and medium. Quick pass out left side. It's hauled in by Bryce Johnson. Johnson trying to spin himself away from Zach Teague. Forward progress will award him the first down at the 31-yard line. And we have a Bellevue West timeout now with 30 seconds to go. With that, let's step aside, take a brief timeout here at Seacrest Field. Nick Sainert, Jay Foreman with you on 93.7 The Ticket.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nick Sainert, Jay Foreman with you here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. It is 41-7. And with 30 seconds to go until half, Bellevue West just called their second timeout of the half. They have one remaining, so it gives you the idea that Michael Huffman on the other sideline wants to maybe try to score some points before the break. Anderson back to pass, looking, throws out into the flat, and it's dropped by DeMarcus Robinson. It was an incomplete pass. It was forward, so it falls incomplete. 2nd down and 10 coming up with 27 seconds to go until the break.
Yeah, a little bit of a mishap there by Robinson. Obviously, was thinking about that the would-be defender was going to try to come up and tackle him. This is what happens sometimes, Nick, when you're trying to make a big play that you look, towards the second part of the field and you drop a pass.
41-7. All Bellevue West in this one. They lead it by 34 points. Snap back. Will Anderson looking. Bryce Johnson, it goes through his hands. And Zach Teague was in coverage. Makes it 3rd down and 10 now with, the clock didn't run there. So the clock operator fell asleep at the wheel, did not start the clock. And so we stay at 27 seconds. Are they going to allow that? Yeah, referees don't even notice. Okay, so Bellevue West just got an untimed down. All right, 3rd down and 10. 31-yard line is where it's at. 27 seconds to go. 41-7 is your score. As Will Anderson has 21 touchdown passes on the season, 2 interceptions. Really nice senior campaign. Anderson back to pass, looking, throws downfield. This one hauled in, and it's hauled in by Jermaine Green on the far side outside the numbers. The clock will stop momentarily as they reset the ball. Bellevue West right back up to the line as Will Anderson communicating a play. The clock is running, 18 seconds and counting. Back to pass. Anderson looking, throws downfield, going to take a shot. It's well out of the reach of Grant Jones, the intended receiver there, with 9 seconds to go until the break. 41-7, 2nd and 10 from their own 47-yard line for Bellevue West.
Yeah, he was trying to take a shot there, and they were trying to save the timeout. I would have liked to see the timeout called there, then go for 2 plays. But, when you're up by 34 points, you're not making many wrong decisions. And obviously the hindsight is the best sight. But right now, when you think about it, you're trying to get a quick route here, maybe see if you can burn 6-7 seconds off of it, Nick, a timeout and maybe a field goal or a shot at the end zone.
9 seconds. Anderson pumps. He rolls, throws downfield, up the far near sideline. It's hauled in. He cuts back, and now inside the 20-yard line with 1 second on the clock, Michael Huffman will be able to call his final timeout, and Bellevue West will be able to attempt what I would assume to be a field goal from inside the 20. The ball is placed at the 17-yard line.
Listen, Will Anderson is showing everybody that what's in his bag. Rolling to his left, gets flat, squared his shoulder, dropped a dime. The trajectory and loft and the velocity was perfect. Really good catch there by Delon Wright with 1 second left, and that's why, obviously, Coach Hoffman is over there. And I'm up here is where he kept that timeout in the bag, knowing that would happen with his all-everything quarterback. Really good execution. Let's see if they can get 3 points or extra 3 points here going into halftime.
Yeah, Coach Huffman calls his final timeout with just 1 second on the clock. And so from here, We'll see if they want to attempt a field goal. From here, it would be about a 32-yard field goal attempt. 32-yard field
Let's
goal.
not forget, Southwest is blocked an extra point early in the game, and that's why we're at 42. What?
That's right. That's why it's 41-7 instead of 42-7.
Well, I'm saying that could maybe sway his decision.
Yeah, sure.
To go for it.
They're on to attempt the 32-yard field goal, as it is going to be number 41, Elias Schultz. Schultz, as Lincoln Southwest is kind of in a safety, just in case there's a fake on. From the left hash, the snap, the hold, the kick is up, has plenty of leg, and it is good. So as time expires at the end of the first half, Bellevue West dominates that first half, those first two quarters. They lead at 44-7 as we go into halftime. Don't go anywhere. Tristan Gomes will have your halftime show from our 93.7 The Ticket Studios. Your score once again at the break, 44-7 in favor of the Bellevue West Thunderbirds over the Lincoln Southwest Silverhawks here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Ready to score big with your projects? Look no further than Edward Stone, the MVP of natural stone for over 2 decades. Edward Stone is cranking out over 30,000 square feet every week and offers a winning lineup of over 70 quality natural veneer stone selections. Their unbeatable variety and experienced team will ensure your project is a success, whether it's a home renovation or a commercial build. And hey, they're not just about stone. They've got an all-star lineup of fireplaces, cast stone, brick, and much more. Swing by one of their locations in Lincoln or Omaha today and experience the Edward Stone difference, your reliable choice for over 20 years.
Projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Welcome back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What's up? We're back in the 93.7 The Ticket studio. I'm Tristan Gomez. I'll take you through this halftime show, update you on some scores going around the state of Nebraska, and then we'll touch on some college football games for this upcoming weekend. But let's start with some Friday night lights. Looking at the Class A games to start, we got Nick and Jay out at Seacrest Field. They're there for the Bellevue West Thunderbirds at the Lincoln Southwest Silverhawks. That game has been very one-sided so far as Bellevue West leads that one 44-7 at the half. And then we got some other scores. Not many close games by any means. We'll start just with some of the Omaha Metro schools. We got Omaha North hosting South Sioux City. They're up 42-0 in the second quarter. Papillion La Vista South up 42-0 against Omaha South. Millard West, my Wildcats, are up 48-0 against the Omaha Northwest Huskies. And Kearney hosting number 9 Millard North. They are up 21-14 at the half. What else we got? We got Burke at Norfolk making the trip up out west a little bit. Norfolk up 31-7 at the half. A few other scores going on. Creighton Prep Fremont, we got a close game there. 7-3. Prep ranked number 4 in the state right now, playing some good football. And then we got Omaha Central hosting Papillion La Vista. They're up 14-0 at the half. And then we got some big games. We got some higher ranked games going on in the state. We have Westside heading over to Elkhorn South and absolutely tearing it up. Omaha Westside, arguably the number 2 team in the state of Nebraska, behind Millard South. They're up 35-3. And then we got a few other Lincoln schools going right now. Let's check in on how they're doing. Lincoln Southeast up against North Platte. And then we got, who else we got? We got Omaha. We got Lincoln Pius. My apologies. They're down 7-0 at the half. Lincoln Christian struggling a little bit at Aurora. They're down 28-0. Let's move on to some of the Class B matchups. We got a few good Class B matchups going on right now. We got Elkhorn North and Scott. That's been a matchup in Class B. Elkhorn North recently going into Class B new school. They're up 10-7 at the half against the Skyhawks, who have seemed to just absolutely dominated Class B for the past few years. Plenty of great games going around the state right now, a lot of blowouts, but that's what you're going to get. You got a lot of schools that are absolutely dominating. We got schools like Millard South who are having teams forfeit against them, which we will get into in a sec. A few other Class B matchups. We got Gretna at Platteview. They're leading 42-0. York against Grand Island Northwest. Close game there, 10-9. Crete dominating Lincoln Northwest, 28-0. Not many close games going on in the state right now. We'll check in on a little bit of Class C. Boys Town beats Louisville 32-0. Gothenburg, way out west, they won 48-6 against Holdridge. Syracuse hosting Falls City. They win by a huge victory of 40-0. And Sydney currently up on Chase County 19-0. Those are some of the top games. We got Milford at Central City. They are in a close one, 21-20 at the half. Like I said, Aurora dominating Lincoln Christian 28-0. And Ashland Greenwood dominating Ron Colley in the third quarter 28-0. Those are just a few of the games going on around the metro. I think the biggest news for this week has been the Lincoln High forfeit against just the juggernaut of Millard South. Lincoln High put out a statement saying how they've had a few injuries. They had a tough loss, I believe 56-0 against Lincoln Southeast last week. Really struggled in that one, came out of it with a few injuries. And I was unaware until Austin informed me of the penalty for forfeiting a game. And I think there's a lot that goes into this when it comes to high school sports, especially Nebraska, when we see a school like Millard South absolutely dominating. But when it comes to the penalty, it's a $1,000 fine to Lincoln High. Lincoln High also has to pay the referees that were scheduled to ref that game, and they are ineligible for the playoffs. I think that's a very heavy penalty. I think the NSAA, when they developed that rule, really wanted to emphasize, hey, we got high school football. It's Friday Night Lights. These are games that we want our players to be playing in. We want these kids to get this experience. And there's so many schools around the state that, want to play football. And so when a team forfeits, it's tough for that school to, be preparing all week, not able to play. But then also you're, missing out on huge memories. But in Lincoln High's defense, if there are quite a few guys that got injured in last week's loss to Lincoln Southeast, and it's probably not the safest for you to, one, play those injured guys, but then also play them against Millard South, who we have seen just absolutely dominate so far in the high school football realm this year. They actually beat my Millard West Wildcats, I believe 70-0. Correct me if I'm wrong. 70-0. And I believe Millard West was negative in yards for that game. So, and Millard West currently ranked, I believe, number 8 in the state right now. So when a team like that is absolutely dominating and you have a banged up Lincoln High School who wants to protect their players respectfully, it makes sense. Looking at this here we go. Here's Millard South's schedule so far. So they won 49-7 against Arborview, which was, I believe, in Vegas. and they had to forfeit that game because they didn't get the paperwork right. They had an ineligible player that ended up playing in that game, so they forfeited, even though the final score said differently, 49-7. They then go on to beat Millard West 65-0, and then they go all the way out to Kearney, and they win by a margin of victory of 72-0. They then play Millard North 70-7. They played Lincoln Southeast with a victory of 77-0, and then Papillion La Vista 58-3. So they have not scored less than, in games played in Nebraska, they have not scored less than 55 points, and they have not allowed more than 7 points the entire season. And Lincoln High, 4-2 on the season with some victories, I believe, over Omaha Benson, Omaha Bryan, just a few schools like that. But when it comes to the player safety, I understand Lincoln High not wanting to play in this game, but you feel bad for both schools, both athletes missing out on a chance to play on Friday nights. Now let's move over to some of the college football games we got on slate for this weekend. It's going to be a big weekend, a lot of top-ranked matchups in the SEC as well as the Big Ten. To start, we'll start out with number 24, South Florida. They are at North Texas right now with a score of 21-21. That was a big game. First time North Texas has ever had a sold-out football game. I saw that they canceled class today to make sure the students and the fans were showing out at that one. And then we got Pitt at Florida State. Florida State struggling a little bit. They lose in overtime to Virginia, and then they take on Miami last week, which was very one-sided. Miami seems to be dominant, especially when it comes to the ACC. Big one in the SEC. Alabama at number 8, Alabama at number 14, Missouri. The Tigers have a pretty favorable schedule when it comes to playing the teams in the SEC. I believe they're playing, the top of their opponents at home, and then they get to travel to maybe some of the easier opponents in the SEC. With that being said, that's going to be a big one for Alabama, coming off a big win against Georgia. And the SEC seems like it's wide open. You got big teams losing. Texas, now unranked. Alabama, they lose one early to Florida State, but then they beat Georgia. Georgia with a loss. Tennessee with a loss. Plenty of football left in the SEC to see who comes out on top in that conference. Ohio State then heads to number 17, Illinois in Champaign. That's going to be Ohio State, other than Texas, probably their toughest opponent so far this year. Let's see what Luke Altmaier and the Fighting Illini have when it comes to stopping the Ohio State Buckeyes. Ole Miss, number 4, highest ranked SEC team right now. They had a big win against LSU at home. They now host Washington State. I believe they're favored by quite a margin of victory, but that could be a little sleeper game with them. They're playing top SEC teams, and then they get the Cougars coming in from way out in Pullman. That's going to be one that Ole Miss, I believe, is going to handle pretty easily. NC State at number 16, Notre Dame. Notre Dame with those 2 losses early to Miami and Texas A&M. They host the Wolfpack. Number 22, Iowa State. They head to Colorado to take on Deion Sanders and the Buffalo. Virginia Tech, they head to number 13, Georgia Tech, who seems to be another team that's fighting in that ACC conference. And then we got the Red River rivalry. Number 6, Oklahoma taking on Texas. That'll be a big one. We'll see if John Matier is listed as healthy for that one. I know as of right now he is questionable. Would love to see him play in his first Red River rivalry. And Arch Manning and the Texas Longhorns need a big bounce back game this Saturday. That's tomorrow at 2:30. And then the biggest one, College Game Day, headed to Eugene, Oregon for the Indiana Hoosiers and the Oregon Ducks. That's going to be a big one. Oregon coming off a bye week where they headed out to Happy Valley to take on the Penn State Nittany Lions and came out in an overtime win, which is huge for the Ducks. Penn State, maybe a little asleep at the wheel after that loss as they lose to UCLA. But that'll be a big one as the Big Ten Conference is kind of narrowing down, it seems like, who's going to be the team that makes it out alive, wins the conference, gets themselves in the college football playoff. Right now, it seems like it is Indiana, Oregon, and Ohio State. The Razorbacks of Arkansas, they head to number 12, Tennessee. Florida, coming off a big win at home against Texas. They now play the other Texas school in the SEC in Texas A&M. they will head to College Station for that one for a night game. Let's see if DJ Lagway and Billy Napier have that one in them to dominate Texas this year. Kansas, they head to number 9, Texas Tech. Texas Tech has looked dominant so far in the Big 12. They had a big win against Utah a few weeks ago, and the Big 12 is wide open. I think we say this every single year. Arizona State came out on top last year. There's so many teams in that conference that could win that one. Back to the Big 10, we got number 15, Michigan, taking on USC. That'll be a good one. The Wolverines and their run game are going to try to dominate that USC defensive line. Two totally different types of offense. It seems like Maeva and Lincoln Riley of that USC offense want to spread it, air it out, keep that West Coast vibe, while Michigan is Michigan, and they love dominating the line of scrimmage and running the ball as much as they can. Georgia, they take on Auburn. That'll be a big one. Number 10, Georgia. They only got one loss, and that is to the Crimson Tide of Alabama. They head to Auburn. I'm expecting a low-scoring one in that one. And then we got South Carolina, Lenora Sellers, who we expected to be a Heisman favorite going into this year. They're struggling a little bit. They go to Baton Rouge to take on number 11 LSU. BYU heads to Arizona. And then a little old school Pac-12 after dark. We have number 21 Arizona State in Utah. That's a 9:15 kickoff if you're here in Lincoln, Nebraska. A lot of great games going on right now in high school football. We got Nick and Jay. They're holding down the fort over at Seacrest, which has been a very one-sided game by the Bellevue West Thunderbirds. Thunderbirds' Will Anderson has been dominating the game so far, entered it out. The Bellevue West defense also showed up with a blocked punt. Oh, no, I apologize. A fumble recovery led to a touchdown. So it's been a very one-sided game over at Seacrest, and it seems like in Class A in general, it's a very top-heavy class. You know, you look at the teams like Bellevue West, you look at teams like Westside, and then, of course, you have Millard South, who just seems to be in a league of their own. They've dominated in every aspect. Looking at the stats for Class A real quick, we'll just talk about some of the stat leaders. When it comes to passing, Jet Tamalia, Alabama commit out of Millard South, he's leading the state with almost 1,800 passing yards. Rushing yards, we got Tate Jenkins with 1,100 yards for Omaha Westside. They seem to be battling with Millard South, trying to keep up with them in Class A. And then receiving, Amarian Jackson, probably the top receiver in the state. He is dominating with 686 receiving yards, and he also has 12 touchdowns on the year. So speaking of high school football, we also got Bryce Johnson, Bellevue West, who has already laid his mark on this game over at Seacrest, where we will bring you back right now. You will have Nick and Jay to take you through the rest of this game.
Ready to score big with your projects? Look no further than Edward Stone, the MVP of natural stone for over 2 decades. Edward Stone is cranking out over 30,000 square feet every week and offers a winning lineup of over 70 quality natural veneer stone selections. Their unbeatable variety and experienced team will ensure your project is a success, whether it's a home renovation or a commercial build. And hey, they're not just about stone. They've got an all-star lineup of fireplaces, cast stone, brick, and much more. Swing by one of their locations in Lincoln or Omaha today and experience the Edward Stone difference, your reliable choice for over 20 years.
Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in, Nick Sainer, Jay Foreman from Seacrest Field after a first half that was dominated by Bellevue West 44-7. Thanks to Tristan Gomes for taking you through the halftime intermission. As Jay, we are a couple of minutes away from kicking things off in the start of the second half. Lincoln Southwest will get the ball to start the quarter. We will begin with a running clock since it is a greater than 35-point margin here in the NSAA rules. But for the most part, if you're Lincoln Southwest, I mean, you're down by 37 points here. What do you do? Where do you turn?
Well, hopefully you come out from halftime and execute some of the adjustments or tips that you wanted to give your offense, during that 15, 16-minute break.
Mm-hmm.
You want to see execution intensity and in competitiveness. This is not a scoreboard type of talk. This is like, okay, we need to play to what our standard is. We did not reach our standard as far as being a competitor, and then obviously putting out great effort with enthusiasm and understanding that you have a great opportunity to come out and play a great game of football. And so it's more teaching moments. It's also challenging these young men to go out there and put their best foot forward and see what they can do offensively. Because right now you're thinking, okay, we need to win this first series. We need to win the second half. We need to win this first quarter of the second half. But, be anything beyond that would be, probably not in the best interest of the overall, for the overall Southeast Silverhawks football program.
All right, so Lincoln Southwest, they won the toss at the start of the game. They elected to defer to the second half, and so that they will receive here to begin the third quarter. Bellevue West, after dominating that first half, they lead at 44-7 now. As when you look at Bellevue West, we'll see if Will Anderson trots back out there or if Coach Michael Huffman wants to go with reserves in the third and fourth quarter here for Bell West. All right.
They don't have a lot of, they don't have a big roster over there in Bellevue West. Obviously, Will Anderson and company have done their job, 44 points in the first half. So you're not trying to embarrass Southwest Silverhawks, but also, wouldn't be bad getting home about 10 o'clock.
For Bellevue West.
Yeah, for Bellevue West.
44-7, your score. Bellevue West has it teed up, and we are ready to commence the second half of action here. Once again, thanks to Tristan Gomes back in our 93.7 The Ticket studios, pushing all the buttons, running the show back there at the mothership. All right, it's a short kick fielded at the 20-yard line. Lincoln Southwest, the returner, gets upended. Forward progress will mark him down at the 28-yard line, and it is time for 1st and 10 from the 28-yard line here for Lincoln Southwest.
Yeah, the pooch kick has worked magically for Bellevue West Thunderbirds tonight. Now it's the second time it's been executed to perfection, and the second time Justin Barnes Jr. has made a physical tackle at the point of attack.
So 1st and 10, Thatcher Shelton, Luke Mitchell, and the rest of the Lincoln Southwest offense comes out onto the field. As just underway here in quarter number 3, 1st and 10 from their own 28-yard line. Mitchell lined up to the right of Thatcher Shelton. 3 wideouts near side. Back to pass. Shelton, quick pass. It is hauled in by Dawes. And it feels like the Silverhawks like what they have up the seams. They've been able to get not only the intermediate passing like there for a gain of 6, but then also for some deep balls down the middle of the field. They've been able to connect on a couple.
Yeah, they've been able to, and in particular, it's been Dawes in the short area passing game, and he missed the deep pass in the first quarter and was able to get one in the second quarter. So that's something they can lean on all the way down the field if they choose to.
It's 2nd down and 4. They send Stroop in motion. He gets it on the jet toss. He's going to roll right side and nowhere to go. He's taken down for a loss of 2 back at the 32-yard line. And Gavin Stroop, they tried to run that play earlier, and then they got called for a penalty on the offense, and it did not even get to be snapped. And so it's now 3rd and 6.
Yeah, a little bit. They tried to run a jet sweep there with Stroop, and Garza and James were not having any parts of it. And so, you got 5 yards on the first play. You lost a yard now, and now you're behind the chains a little bit with a passing attack that is limited at best. And so, you're playing right into Bellevue West hands right here early in the second half.
Back to pass, Shelton throws across his body. Dawes has it. A lot of running room across the 45-yard line. Taken down near midfield. A nice job rolling to his left by Thatcher Shelton. Finding Dawes, cutting across the middle. He hauled it in just inside the numbers between the hashes, and he was able to run it upfield for a first down and then some.
Yeah, they got when Shelton got outside the pocket, it forced the Bellevue West flat defender to come out of coverage, and there was an easy pass there to Dawes. Positive momentum here early for Southwest Silverhawks.
1st and 10 from right at the 50-yard line, as it will be shotgun formation, 3 wideouts near side. They motion Sanchez from left to right. Now in the backfield next to Thatcher Shelton, the quarterback. They turn, hand it off. Sanchez trying to run to the left, has a little bit of running room, turns the corner, and runs out of bounds at the 46-yard line.
Yeah, so you know what? This is more than we saw probably the last 2 or 3 drives from Southwest Silverhawks. More on balance, positive yards on first down, even though that was 3-yard gain there. But a little bit of more of a continuity as far as mixing up the play calling, right? In attacking the thirds of the field and then also being a little bit more physical at the point of attack.
9 minutes, 30 seconds to go. 2nd down and 7 from the 47-yard line. Snap back, the fake rolling to his right is Shelton, getting pressured. He evades one tackler, still running with it. Shelton taking down at the 45-yard line, gain of 2. Shelton's done a really nice job. He's still a young quarterback, a sophomore, has experience both as a freshman and now sophomore, but has done a good job of starting to really understand when it's a good idea to scramble and then when it might be too early to scramble.
Yeah, he's done a good job of also creating stress for the defense and obviously making some big plays. Obviously, the run was a highlight of the night for him and Southwest Silverhawks, but he's done a really good job of improving. We saw him the last time we were here, and he started to make improvement in the second half, and he's continued again tonight.
3rd down and 5, dump off screen. Nowhere to go for Sanchez as he is drove down to the ground, and number 43, that is Terrell Fields. He was immediately there to meet Sanchez. They tried to dump it off on a screen. Loss of 2 on the play, and it's going to bring up 4th down and 7. And it appears Lincoln Southwest is going to play the field position game down 44-7, and they're going to punt it away.
Yeah, Fields, the second leading tackler, probably was upset because he got the dead leg. He went into Dead Leg University from Shelton. And was a little angry and blew up that delayed screen pass there in the flat.
A little bit of miscommunication here, and I think Bellevue West has to call a timeout. They do. They had, what looks to be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 guys on the field, and you can only play with 11. I don't know if you know that. You can only play with 11.
Well, I know that. I know they didn't know that. I think they got a little bit of a mixed up there, Nick. Sometimes you want to do what's called punt safe, and that's where you keep your defense there, and you're kind of watching for a fake punt, and then half the other guys or the extra 4 guys were probably on punt return team. So Coach Hoffman and staff had to blow a timeout, get the right unit out there. But like you said, that Southwest seems like they're going to be going to trying to.
Do you understand this call? 4th and 6. You're on the Bellevue West 46, and you're down by 37.
If there wasn't a timeout, the clock would be running.
Yeah.
So you might as well just go for it because, number 1, you're down by 37 points. Number 2, you don't really have an advantage of, even if you do the field position thing or field position game, you're not going to be able to win it unless you score.
Here's Mitchell. Good punt as it's going to be a fair catch signaled for at the 5, and that is where Smith will haul it in for Bellevue West, and that is where Bellevue West will set up shop 1st and 10 inside their own 10-yard line, right at the 5-yard line. And so Bellevue West leads it 44-7. Just a reminder, we are with a running clock here in the second half as Bellevue West leads by more than 35 points. That is the NSAA rule. And so where in football, it's a 35-point game. It's a running clock.
Flawlessly executed
punt or
drive there for Bellevue West to get that last 3 points. 44 seconds.
But once again, it's a 35-point advantage in the second half. That is no running clock in the first half. And then basketball, the rule is 40-point lead. Will Anderson, quick pass out far side. It's hauled in, and turning the corner is the receiver across the first down marker. And he might have stepped on the sideline near that first down line to gain. And it's going to be a gain of 9, maybe 10. And it's going to bring up 2nd down and short.
Nick, sometimes when you're closing out a game, you want your receiver there to stay in bounds. But when it's a running clock, you just get to play football. That's what Bellevue West has been able to do all night, right? You had, you're backed up there in the south part of the end zone. A little bit of a flare pass up the sideline, 1st down. They've been way ahead of the chains. I would like to, obviously, if it was a college football game, you'd like to see their 1st down win percentage and see what they're doing.
Anderson fumbled it on as he faked the handoff to his running back, and it kind of just bounced right up back to his lap. He was able to haul it in and skirt forward for a gain of 5. That's going to bring up 2nd down and 5 now from the 20-yard line.
When it's your night, things like that happen. You fumble the snap on an RPO, and that's something that Will Anderson and company has done really well as far as that play and the execution. Bounce right up in your hands and still get 5 yards on 1st down, 6 yards on 1st down.
6:04 and counting here in the third quarter. It's 44-7. Back to pass. Anderson hauls it in into the flat, has some running room across the 25, and a nice tackle out in space there by Terwilliger as well as Rathbun, but not until number 88, Jacob Coyer, makes the catch and the 1st down on catch and run.
Jacob Coyer, a basketball player. His sister was a really, really good basketball player herself, and he's a really good-looking tight end. good execution and pass and catch there in the flat, right, where you're catching it over your left shoulder, trying to turn it up field to the left side. Not only did that, got the first down. Good run after catch there for Coyer.
5:25, they turn, hand it off here on first down. Nowhere to go for the ball carrier. A nice job by a group of Southwest defenders led by Evan Robinson. Also in on the stop was Garrett Rathbun and number 56, Jackson Umbenhauer, all in on the stop for Lincoln Southwest. I think McLean Milius also was in there for the Silverhawks defense. It's 44-7. Lincoln Southwest trails Bellevue West by 37 points as we approach the 5-minute mark here in quarter number 3. Shotgun set for Will Anderson and the T-Birds offense. They hand it off again, shedding a couple of tacklers. Here goes number 5, DeMarcus Robinson. He barrels his way across the 40-yard line and down at the 41. However, there is a penalty marker on the play on the far side of the field.
Yeah, it'd have to be wide receiver offsides. No, he would have blew it dead.
Potentially a false start. Yeah. So they should have blown it dead, and they did not.
That's why I was confused.
Yeah.
If you definitely don't let the play go when the offense false starts or illegal formation. But nevertheless, Bellevue West is probably the first time tonight behind the chains on second down. I mean, 1 yard gain on first down. It's a 5-yard penalty, so it puts them at 2nd and 14, backed up at their 30. Now, here's what's really interesting when you think about play calling in high school, and obviously Coach Hoffman and his staff has been around a while and very good play callers, is that what's your approach? Be aggressive on second down with the running clock, or do you try to get some chunk back so you're back on schedule, or do you try to play the clock game where you run it and just let it keep running and try to take a minute or two off the clock?
It feels like you'd imagine that you operate with as if there was no running clock,
yeah,
and just kind of do your thing. 4 minutes and 35 seconds to go in the third quarter. Quick pass near side. It's hauled in by Bryce Johnson on the near sideline. He gets a gain of a couple back to near the original line of scrimmage, and then a little extra for good measure.
Yeah.
And so it's about a 5.5-yard gain. It'll bring up 3rd down and 9.
Yeah, 3rd and manageable. 3rd and 9. There's very familiar territory, and obviously execution percentage for Bellevue West has been phenomenal tonight.
I was going to say this is third and manageable for Bellevue West with how they're playing tonight.
And also, one of the things about Bryce Johnson, man, he's a really good receiver. A little bit slight, and so when you think about him at the next level, probably just needs to get a little bit bigger there to break some more tackles.
Here comes Anderson looking around. He's going to throw it deep, intended for Bryce Johnson. He high points it, is able to haul it in. What a catch by Bryce Johnson.
Yeah, Bryce Johnson, right when I said it. Was there a flag back here?
There is a penalty flag on the play.
Well, anyways, with Bryce Johnson, that was a really good job, and Will Anderson did a good job of lofting it up there, and he high-pointed it, and he's giving Teague fits, but luckily enough, it was a legal man down the field.
That is right. Ineligible man downfield on Bellevue West.
That's a huge call on a quick pass like that.
3rd down, and now it's going to be behind the line of scrimmage. 3rd down and 13 coming, or rather 3rd down and 15 coming up. And it's going to be from the 25.
Nick, on a half rollout like that, normally offensive linemen are taught not to even think about going. And I think there's a 1.5 yard grace period, right, or 2 yards. So that's a pretty egregious penalty there on a huge play there by Johnson and Anderson.
So 3rd and 15 now from the 25-yard line. 2 wideouts near side, 1 to the far. Running back in the backfield. 3:41 and counting to go in the third quarter. Anderson back to pass. He's going to take a shot downfield, has his man beat, and it's just out of reach for Jermaine Green. Green was open down the far sideline. In coverage was Lincoln Southwest number 10. That was Brody Jones, I believe, who was in coverage for Lincoln Southwest. Was beat on the play, but it was just out of reach for Jermaine Green, and Bellevue West have to boot this one away.
Yeah, Will Anderson throws a really good ball. I mean, I'm looking at the trajectory, obviously the velocity, but then how tight the spiral is. They call it spin it. Really good connection there with obviously Green and Johnson and obviously Jones and everybody else. But what I like is he can throw the deep ball and time it, right? He doesn't have to wait for you to be open. He has enough trust for the receivers that they'll get open.
Line drive punt. It's fielded, and fair catch is signaled for at the 36-yard line by Emmett Sanchez, and that is where Lincoln Southwest will set up shop offensively with 2:45 and counting here in the third quarter. Let's step aside, 30-second break here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Imagine starting your day with a computer glitch that leaves you feeling stuck, frustrated, and unable to get your work done. You have 1,000,001 things to get done today, and waiting for the tech issue to solve itself isn't one of them. It's time to let Hamilton handle the tech so you don't have to. We help businesses across the state spend more time on what they do best and less time frustrated with office technology. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we're focused on providing custom solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Connect with us today at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
To go in the third quarter, 44-7, your score in favor of Bellevue West.
Yeah, Santiago's had a really good game from the defensive tackle position, both making plays at the point of attack and down the line of scrimmage.
Minute and a half to go. Shelton back to pass. Pressure up the middle, being chased down by number 58, Gage Brown. He throws a looping ball down the field, and he's unable to haul it in. Was number 17, Gavin Johnson. And on the play, Shelton went down and lost a shoe, but a nice pressure right up the middle by number 58, Gage Brown.
Yeah, Gage Brown did a really good job of providing the pressure. And then number 36, Noah Hernandez, laid the boom. And that's what it made Shelton lose a shoe. But I like Shelton. I like what they've actually done or kind of conceptually been trying to do with Lincoln or Southwest Silverhawks offense. Trying to get some explosive plays, but also get him in a position to be more effective at the quarterback position.
3rd down and 9, 45 seconds to play in the third quarter. Shelton passing down the field. It's intercepted, picked off by number 2, Adrian Wilson. He was in coverage. They've tried to go to Dawes downfield, and for the 7th time this year, Shelton has thrown an INT.
Yeah, really good job there by Adrian Wilson of understanding who's their threat and who they're going to go to on 3rd down. They have essentially, or Southwest really could have had about 2 or 3 other big plays on that same play. So good adjustment by Bellevue West and a really good job there by Adrian Wilson going up, knowing that he had underneath coverage, going up and high pointing the ball. Really good interception. Unfortunately for Shelton, what do you think? Sometimes I always say that all interceptions aren't created equal. You're just essentially dropping back and chucking it up. And Bellevue West is taking advantage right now.
Last play of the third quarter here as they toss it out right side to Marcus Robinson. Has a lot of running room, runs downfield as he turns the corner on the far sideline outside the numbers and gets across the 50-yard line and down at the 46. That is the end of the third quarter here at Seacrest Field. Your score 44-7 in favor of Bellevue West. We start the fourth quarter and the final period of play after this in 60 seconds here on 93.7 The Ticket.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
At Doane University, we build leaders, and that means your success and achievements come first. Now is the time to get a glimpse into living and learning at Doane University through a personalized in-person or virtual visit. We know once you experience Doane, you'll see why it's a place where you can achieve your goals and shape your future. Schedule your personal campus visit today at doane.edu/visit.
Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Start of the fourth quarter here at Seacrest Field. It's 44-7 in favor of Bellevue West. They have their backup quarterback, Vinny Armstrong, the sophomore, in. He takes the snap, turns, hands it off on first down. Hands it off to number 25, Zaire Tucker. Tucker goes nowhere, may have gotten stopped for a loss of 1 on the play. 2nd down and 11 coming up for Bellevue West. On the year, Vinny Armstrong, 4 of 5 passing for 85 yards. He has 2 touchdown passes, no INTs in some reserve minutes for the Bellevue West Thunderbirds and head coach Michael Huffman. And so now with 2nd down and 11 from the 47-yard line of Lincoln Southwest, he comes out, shotgun set, 2 wideouts near side, running back Tucker to his left hip. He takes the snap, back to pass. He'll roll out to the left side, throws it across his body. Nice delivery into the arms of number 11, Jackson Lehman. The sophomore wide receiver is out of bounds near the first down marker. They're going to move the chains, 1st and 10 from now the 35-yard line.
Yeah, good job there by Armstrong. I mean, it's no different, right? You're running the same playbook with Anderson in there or Armstrong, and the execution is obviously at a very, very high level. He has good stats coming in as a backup player. That's the way it is turned. But now you get a good glimpse into the future, not only for him, but some other young players, and you got Coyer out there leading the way on this run play.
Toss left side, a nice gain by Tucker on first down, a big-bodied back. Zaire Tucker, 6'1", 195. Looks a little bit thicker
bigger than
that.
Yeah. I mean, they have him listed as a wide receiver, but he's built like a tight end, but a big physical-looking kid. And you never know if they switch uniforms and the numbers, but we're just going off what we have on our sheets.
Did you ever lie about your height or weight?
Probably some, not much though.
Not much.
Yeah.
As a pass out right side, Coyer has it, and he gets across the 25-yard line. Another first down for Bellevue West here as we approach the 10-minute mark in the final period of play. Because you hear about that all the time with basketball guys, right?
Yeah.
They'll, hey, what do you want your height to be?
Yeah.
6'3".
Yeah. But, what our basketball coach always wanted us to be shorter, and then we surprise them with our height. So
you lied to make yourself, you make your styles seem shorter.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know what? It really wasn't, a big emphasis on it back then.
Yeah.
Now with recruiting and that could be the difference in getting a scholarship at a certain university or not. So, right now, I think when you're Southwest Silverhawks, they're both teams, or Bellevue West and Southwest, you see some rotational players, some JV players starting to play, and obviously it's starting to set in with the running clock with a little over 9 minutes left. That the end is near for Southwest, but more importantly, Bellevue West is getting some good looks at some of the young players into the next year.
Tucker runs it on second down and medium. He gets a nice gain of about 4 near that first down line again. That's one thing I will say. There's been a lot of talk, and we haven't really discussed it, Jay, but a lot of talk about the whole Millard South, Lincoln High situation and stuff. Yeah. And here's what I will say about that is for whatever reason why Lincoln High felt like they didn't need to play, I've seen a lot of negativity towards that. It's bad for the kids. What's also not good for the athletes is sending a 5'11", 145-pound sophomore out there against a Division I commit when you could have avoided that too.
Yeah, I mean, there's
some safety stuff there.
Yeah, there's diminishing returns. And whether you don't get anything out of beating a team so bad that the game's over by the end of the first quarter.
Yeah,
and you want to teach the kids to compete, and you want them to always show up and compete. But when you're outmanned, outstrength, size, weight, speed,
that does nothing for the development.
It doesn't do anything for development. And then also, for Lincoln High, if they're down numbers and down some key players, of which Lincoln High has had a pretty good season.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to look out for the betterment not only of the team, but the program as well. So, decisions were made. And Millard South wanted to play another team. They understand, what type of team they have. They want to get some competition and play games before they get into the state playoffs. So, they're the losers too. They can't help it that they have a, legendary team in a roster or whatever, it's gonna go down in state history, not only as the stat-wise the best quarterback in Jet Tamala and potentially if they can find any more games, the state's all-time leading receiver in Amarion Jackson. So, they're a really good team. They're well coached. They're tough. They're physical, and they're all that stuff. And so, what you want here is some sort of resolution. But you can't really turn your nose up at Lincoln. You can't turn your nose up at Millard South. It's just one of those things. You have a really good team and a team that's undermanned.
They are tending to an injured Lincoln Southwest Silverhawk down on the turf. While we wait for them to take care of the injured Silverhawk, let's step aside. We'll take a brief intermission, come back for the final 8 minutes and 40 seconds in this one here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Imagine starting your day with a computer glitch that leaves you feeling stuck, frustrated, and unable to get your work done. You have 1,000,001 things to get done today, and waiting for the tech issue to solve itself isn't one of them. It's time to let Hamilton handle the tech so you don't have to. We help businesses across the state spend more time on what they do best and less time frustrated with office technology. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we're focused on providing custom solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Connect with us today at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Attention Nebraska sports fans. Are you ready to take your skills to the next level? The Army National Guard is looking for leaders who are dedicated, driven, and ready to make a difference. Join up and gain invaluable experience while serving your country with a flexible schedule, competitive benefits, and a chance to build a strong future. Learn more at nationalguard.com/Nebraska. Live here, serve here. The Nebraska Army National Guard. Guard the good life. If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Ready to score big with your projects? Look no further than Edward Stone, the MVP of natural stone for over 2 decades. Edward Stone is cranking out over 30,000 square feet every week and offers a winning lineup of over 70 quality natural veneer stone selections. Their unbeatable variety and experienced team will ensure your project is a success, whether it's a home renovation or a commercial build. And hey, they're not just about stone. They've got an all-star lineup of fireplaces, cast stone, brick, and much more. Swing by one of their locations in Lincoln or Omaha today and experience the Edward Stone difference, your reliable choice for over 20 years.
Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, so they have tended to the injured Southwest Silverhawk, and it's Hunter Christensen, the senior. He gets banged up. May have gotten his bell rung a little bit.
Yeah.
Have to be super cautious with the concussion stuff, and as you said, Jay, during the break there. But back to play. Vinny Armstrong, the pass hauled in on the far side, just past the first down marker. It is now a 1st and goal for the Bellevue West Thunderbirds. Rather, excuse me, it is not Christensen. It's number 58, Nathan Hill. And so they're going to attempt to take his helmet off as they're continuing to tend to him on the sidelines there. And so being very cautious with Nathan Hill on the sidelines. But now it's going to bring up, we have a pause in the action. There was a penalty marker on the play. And so rather than it being 1st and goal, it'll be a penalty flag, and they're going to have the conversation. No official word yet on what it is.
Yeah.
8:29 currently stands in the fourth quarter. It appears to be on Bellevue West as the players start to jog backwards. Still no word from the official. And it's going to be an ineligible man downfield. Second time Bellevue West has been called on that in consecutive drives.
On a quick pass there.
So it's going to be third. Should be third down and 9. It should be third because you don't lose a down on that one. But
it was 4th down and they got it. But
okay, so it was 3rd down. But anyway, so it's going to be 4th down and 9. I'm going to say
sure
this.
It might be 3rd down.
I'm pretty sure it's 3rd down. We're not checked out up here, but nonetheless, they're going to take a shot to the end zone, and it is hauled in. It doesn't even. No, it's incomplete. Okay, it's going to be incomplete.
Oh.
I thought that he got 2 feet in.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm not going to sit here and I don't try to criticize the refs a whole lot, but in a game that even when it's 44-7, you still need to feel like the officiating crew is checked in.
Yeah.
And it's felt real sloppy this second half between this officiating crew with the face mask penalty. They thought it was on Southwest. It ended up being on Bellevue West. That was a blatant miscall that you still need to get right, whether it's 44-7 or 14-7. And nonetheless, it's a turnover on downs because they are going to call it 4th down there. 1st and 10 now from the 19-yard line. Lincoln Southwest with the football. They turn, hand it off, nowhere to go. A loss of 2 yards on the play to make it 2nd down and 12.
I like it for Coach Trainer, which obviously, Shelton did a really good job of trying to compete, and obviously some of the other players like Noah Curtis and Mitchell. Obviously, a little bit disappointed, but they have some senior offensive linemen like Cole Nelson, and and so forth and so on. And obviously, with Nathan Hill being attended to over there, then you have to do what's best for the team and get some JV players in there and some backup players some good minutes.
Yeah, Gavin Johnson, the backup quarterback, is in the game. He throws it, intended for number 31, Creighton Meyer, and it falls incomplete at the shoe tops of Meyer. And so it falls incomplete. 3rd down and 11 coming up for Lincoln Southwest offensively. 6:43 and counting here in the ball game. 44-7 is your score in favor of Bellevue West.
Nick, you got to give Bellevue West credit. I mean, they kind of been forgotten in this whole, Millard. Everybody thinks it's Millard South and West Side or bust, and maybe Omaha North. If they get hot, and that was it. And then now you see Bellevue West, and we've been able to see them up close and personal. They are a pretty well coached team, and they are pretty athletic and competitive. And the one thing I think they've done, Nick, is really come in and execute the game plan to a high rate. And what I mean by that is they get in and out of the huddle on time. They run their offense efficiently. They actually have a game plan that counteracts the strength of a pretty stingy Southwest Silverhawks defense. And really from the very beginning, right, we thought like, okay, what are you going to do? Put your defense out there? And Bellevue West just got the ball and just marched down the field repeatedly, made a play on defense. And the one thing I really like them that we see sometimes, even at the college level and the pros, is after a big momentum play, they kept the foot on the gas, and they kept making they actually just kept
a muff on the punt, and Lincoln Southwest gets it back. Go ahead.
Now, whose fault is that?
Well, it's yours.
It's mine. But I was saying, up until then, they did a really good job of making the ordinary plays look extraordinary. And now they just one of their best players, Mr. Smith, number 10, got caught up in the lights. So the ball got caught up in the lights and muffed the punt.
So Lincoln Southwest gets it back after they muff the punt, and they will take over 1st and 10 at their own 39-yard line. 5 minutes to go in the ball game here, 1st and 10. The game for Lincoln Southwest, the rest of their schedule, they will fall to 2-5 on the season. The rest of their schedule with 2 games left, they're more than likely not going to make the playoffs, as they will play Buena Vista on the road at Buena Vista next week. And then they will wrap up the year against Omaha North on October 23rd. For Bellevue West, you look at the opportunity that they have coming up, and they have a big game next Friday against Omaha North. And then they will finish out the year against Lincoln Northeast. That game will be here at Seacrest Field. There's a penalty flag on the play with 4:34 to go in the ball game. But once again, Bellevue West is on their way to improving to 4-3, and it's a misleading 4-3.
Yeah, I mean, look, every game that they lost, they were very, very, very competitive. They lost a 1-point game to Central, 7-point game to Westside, another 8-point game to, I think, not Omaha North, but they were another, or was the other loss?
Central, Elkhorn South. Yep.
Yeah, and
Westside.
Everyone is coming down to a 1-score game. And the one thing I also look at, Nick, is how many points they scored versus giving up. And so the defense has been pretty opportunistic. They got a good defense here as far as guys being able to do the fundamental things, tackle, communicate, make plays on the ball offensively. I think with that offensive line and the way that they're able to timely run the ball, that could give some people some problems. Listen, Johnson and Green, that combination is just as good, as any combination of receivers in the state. And obviously Millard South is obviously the number 1, but I think when you think about comparing those two with the receivers at Westside, the receivers at any other school in the state, and if they get going the way that Will Anderson played tonight, he could give you some problems.
3:57 to go in the 4th quarter. It's 44-7. Bellevue West out in front. Southwest back to pass, looking, hauls it right side. It's caught. Nowhere to go for the pass catcher, though. That's number 32, Christian Fitzgerald, the sophomore wide receiver on the reception. And that brings up 4th down and 7, and Lincoln Southwest will punt this one away with 3:35 to play.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're down 37 points, and you want to kind of, play this game as if it's the second half, because coming out of the halftime, you probably say, "Hey, we want to win the second half," and so you want to put yourself in a position when we go back in the locker room and say, "Okay, we completed one of our goals that we made at halftime," even though all the starters are out. And so this is where you can see some development in your JV and underclassmen and see what you got for next year for both teams.
A good punt by Luke Mitchell. Once again, it's fielded. Fair catch signaled for at the 17-yard line, and that is where Bellevue West will now take over 1st and 10. Vinny Armstrong, the quarterback, the backup in the last couple of drives for the Bellevue West Thunderbirds. 2:52 and counting as the running clock continues here at Seacrest Field. Just a reminder, as we got you here, as we get ready to kind of put the bow on this one, join us tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Central Time for the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. We will kick things off and get you ready for Nebraska, Maryland. It's a 2:30 kickoff. You'll hear from Jay and I at 11:30 Central Time from our 93.7 The Ticket Studios.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a big game for Nebraska, and it's obviously a big game for Maryland. I think it's a great opportunity to, obviously continue along the process of being a, well-respected team, both, locally in the Big Ten, but nationally. Maryland's a better team than people gave them credit for in the preseason. They got some good players, a freshman quarterback. We went through that last year here at Nebraska. I think we have the advantage talent-wise, but then obviously in the most important position, quarterback-wise. But also the most important thing is it's not going to be easy. And so when you go down and you go on the road, the one thing that you have to do, Nick, is pack your defense and pack your special teams and then let the offense, put you over the edge.
1:45 to play, 2nd down and 4 from the 23-yard line. Back to pass. It's hauled in right at that line to gain. And now into the game at quarterback, it'll be Caleb Goodwater, the sophomore quarterback. It's going to be about a yard shy of the first down marker at the 27 or 26-yard line, rather. The 27-yard line is where the first down line again is.
Nick, really I'm starting to think like, okay, well, you got Armstrong, you got Goodwater that comes in. One thing that's apparent, I think that the Omaha Metro teams do, they really implement their system at an early age. The reason why I know this is because you have a sophomore quarterback and a freshman quarterback that don't have a lot of reps. Yes, they play on, respective teams, but you can tell they run these plays and have run these plays for quite some time for them to come cold off the bench and execute it. That's why Coach Hoffman doesn't have to change his playbook no matter who goes in.
So Bellevue West is 45 seconds away from improving to 4-3 on the year. They dominate here today, 44-7. Lincoln Southwest, they will fall to 2-5. I mean, I kind of imagine that Bellevue West just kind of doing the prep was better than their 3-3 record would indicate.
Yeah,
but also, I don't think you ever expect, despite maybe we knew Lincoln Southwest was kind of the underdog or the lesser talented team, but not by 37 points. I mean, this has been domination by Bellevue West.
Yeah, I felt I didn't expect it. I expected maybe Bellevue West to win, but I didn't expect them to win like this, number one. I didn't expect Southwest to come out so flat, number two. Number three, I could say I expected Southwest Silverhawks defense to put up a little bit more of a fight than it did. But nevertheless, Bellevue West came in here motivated and wanted to prove a point and a purpose, and they did that tonight.
That is your ball game, 44-7, your final score in this one. We can't thank you enough for joining us wherever you may be as Lincoln Southwest, they fall to 2-5 on the campaign. Bellevue West improves to 4-3 this season ahead of a very important game against Omaha North next week. Lincoln Southwest will travel to Buena Vista next Thursday night and face off against Buena Vista. But Michael Huffman, the Bellevue West Thunderbirds coach, his team improves to 4-3 as they continue to strive towards the postseason finish. Lincoln Southwest 2-5 on the year. They have 2 more games remaining in their 2025 season. For the Husker Hall of Famer Jay Foreman, we can't thank Tristan Gomes back in our 93.7 The Ticket Studios enough for pushing all the buttons. Nick Sainert saying so long from Seacrest Field. Your final score one last time, Bellevue West 44, Lincoln Southwest 7 here on high school football action, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Your possibilities are endless at Doane University. Rooted in liberal arts, you can choose from undergraduate and graduate programs, all delivering real-world experience. At Doane University, we take a personal approach to education, giving you the guidance you need to own your future. It's not just our long history of innovative learning, it's the feeling of being surrounded by possibilities that makes us different. Now is your time. Apply today at doane.edu/apply.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.